I
All right.
drove
Well,
for 6.5 hours today.
Where were you coming from?
I was going climbing and then coming back from climbing, and on the way there, we got I had to drive an extra 2 hours because I made a wrong turn.
Oh, nice. That's classic.
Sorry to interrupt.
all right. Okay. Well, welcome to session one, everyone. Um, so we went through all the classes and everything, and so before we start, I'm gonna move you to the world map. I mean, the city map, and you can notice that I marked different locations with flags to make it easier to find. And these are locations that are important to your characters for one reason or another. For example, 6 is the Nexus Guild, 10 is the Pattern Guilds, 24 is where most of you are staying, 20 is where Devok is staying, 13 is the library, where the library is at the Halls of Learning that Pico has a contact at. 21 is a merchant district that Oreo has a contact at who owns a store, and 8 up here is where Ragu has a contact with a Gnomish toy store owner, and so I thought it would be nice to put the flags there so you guys can spot those locations easier. So hopefully that helps.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you guys have been novices for a couple of weeks and eagerly awaiting your first mission so that you can complete it and continue your training and continue working toward the expedition to Lumev. And as most of you wake up at the inn, you go downstairs and you have a simple but filling meal, and the serving lady gives you a note from you know who. As you look at the note, you see several things. It mentions that you're going to be paid for missions, so from here on out, you will be responsible for your own living expenses. However, you'll be given a deal, so the prices will be lower than normal, and your first month has already been handled. And there's a special deal with the inn that you happen to be staying at, which is called the Snoring Dragon. The note also reaffirms the pending mission and to meet Carl at the trading hall, although there is a little scribble that indicates that things may not go according to plan. And then at the same time, in the Sudaga ward, Devak is staying in a small tenement, and he winds up getting up for the day. And as he goes down the stairs, he meets the landlord who gives him a similar note. And he heads over to the tavern across the street where they have a special deal for meals with the tenement because the tenement doesn't have a kitchen. And he has his meal there. And ultimately, you all meet slightly before 8 at the Nexus Guild. And I'm going to go ahead and move you there now. You are you find yourself outside the Nexus Guild, and as you look forward past the lush trees from various different regions planted in the center, and you see the door leading into one of the guild hall's main buildings up ahead. And to the right, you can see a group of city guards who seem to be having some sort of discussion. And some of you, such as Oreo and Pico, with your high perceptions, you notice that the guard, there's a guard talking, and a dragonborn that, based on his demeanor, seems to be in charge. And they seem to be having some sort of argument, although at this point you're too far away in order to listen to exactly what they're saying. But you do hear the booming voice of the dragonborn. So what do you do?
Well, actually, how far down are we? Well, I guess, are we okay to move?
Yes.
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
Well,
start.
I could maybe head over here real quick and see if I can
gonna do the same.
nonchalantly hear something.
Yeah, same.
So are you attempting to get close enough to eavesdrop, but have them not notice that you're trying to eavesdrop?
So potentially stealth? Yes, I do.
In that case, Pico and Oreo, go ahead and make a stealth check. If you have camouflage specialization, you can roll that.
Oh, sweet.
Because you're attempting to get close enough and then hide in plain sight and just listen as they don't notice you. And Oreo succeeds marvelously, and you hear the Dragonborn talking to one of the soldiers. The soldier says, "But I don't understand. What's the problem? The guild will handle it. Those are our orders." And the Dragonborn looks down at him, and you can tell, especially with your insight, that he's angry, and he clenches his fists and has trouble holding his anger back. And he says, "It is a matter of honor. It is an internal affair, and it is safety of the city. It does not belong to the hands of others. It is for us to deal with." And then the other soldier says, "But it's our orders." And then the Dragonborn grumbles and he says, "I know, and I will obey, but I am not happy." And just at that moment, you hear you see someone just pop out of the bushes, and you hear a bubbly voice. "Oh, there you are!" And she's pointing right at Oreo, and she says it really loud. And Oreo, you look at her and you recognize her. She seems she's a human with brightly colored hair, and she has this bubbly personality. She is the assistant of Carl. However, you've heard plenty of rumors of her skill as a rogue and even an assassin. And with her ability to sneak up on you, and you can almost never tell she's there until she says something, you're inclined to believe her. So, what do you do?
Does that reveal my spot at all? Because if so, I'm gonna just like move this way and try to hide ahead from the trees.
Okay, you move, and at this point, you hear the conversation stop, and the guards start walking,
I'm
and
just gonna duck into the freaking bushes.
the
Long
dragon.
dive in.
Yep, the Dragonborn pushes to the lead, and he says, "It is time to leave. We have dallied too long." And they come around the corner, and they see you, Pico. What are you doing?
Well, I was just sifting through my pack.
Okay. So the Dragonborn walks up to you, and he says, "I apologize, sir, but we need to pass."
Certainly, sir. I'll just step out of his way.
Okay. And then the Dragonborn head out to the street. So.
Bye-bye.
And at this point, Elru is bouncing on her toes and waving to the whole group. "Come on, you too!" And she points right to you again, Oreo. "Come on, we got business to do."
Can you give me a heads up next time? God damn it.
"What?" And then she runs off to the door and waits for you.
Oh, Jesus, she's fast.
Alrighty. So once you get to the door, she opens it up and she leads you inside, and she leads you down a maze of tunnels, or passageways, hallways, and you're reminded that you've never actually been able to move around this place without an escort. And then eventually you are led into the office of Carl, and you've been here before. And Carl looks up as you enter, and Elru leaves and closes the door behind her. And and then Carl begins to speak. He says, "Please, everyone, have a seat. And whatever you do, avoid panicking. Everything is fine."
Okay.
So
course.
there has been a change of plans. Your nice and easy mission has been replaced, I'm afraid. Let's see, where to begin? Well, last night a Kylon adolescent was spotted inside the walls around midnight. And you may know, but they are creatures that came from the dead worlds. I will give you more information, but suffice it to say, the last time one of these creatures got in, or several of them back then, it was a disaster, and it happened about 8 years ago. But anyway, that doesn't matter. But anyway, a Kylon has managed to get in somehow, and for some, you've been assigned because of your skill and bravery to deal with this situation. And to be sure, at this point in time, his voice is sounding a bit nervous, and he says, "The guards aren't to handle it. This is directly from the city lord, and from our superiors, I am told your group in particular is to handle it. I'm afraid the guards cannot be given this task. So your task will involve finding the adolescent and taking it out before it can produce too many young. They feed on people or other living things, and then they use that energy to multiply. And you will need to find the creature, find out how the creature got in the city. That's very important. Find how it got into the city, and who, if anyone, is responsible, and why. God, why? And finally, you are to take out its young, probably hatchlings. It should be no problem for you. And you have a week to do it. So at this point, I should probably tell you what we know and leave you to it. So the how would I begin here? So it was reported around midnight last night by the West Garrison, and the strange thing is the gates should be closed at night. They're always closed at night, and there are multiple gate guards at each gate, and there is no evidence of damage to the gates or the walls. They've been checked. The sighting was reported by the West Garrison, like I said, and you should speak to Captain Razgar. He's a copper dragonborn, and he's the captain of the garrison. The West Garrison is in charge of the west and northwest gates, if that's relevant. And that's not all. This morning, 3 dead foreigners, and as he said foreigners, his eyes quickly flick to Oreo and to Pico, and then flick back. 3 dead foreigners were found dead in an alley in the near the Rose Boulevard. As you know, the Rose Boulevard is the red light district to the north, the northwest red light district. Unfortunately, the location we were given was vague, conflicting. We're not sure which alley it is, so it might take you several hours to find the place, but maybe there's a better way. And finally, several dead beggars were found in the northern tenements, also in an alley. And finding places in that place is even harder. That will take you some time, I imagine. And I'm afraid that that's really all the information we have. Do you have any questions?
Think so.
As you say, I think so, Elru pops her head back in the door, and she says, well, you know, Valenstar is here to see you. And then Carl looks back at her, and you can see a flash of annoyance. And he says, "Tell him to give me 5 minutes." And then she leaves. As you can see, I'm unfortunately rather busy. The walls could be falling around us, and still I would have paperwork and people to talk to. Anyway, what were your questions?
Are the bodies being kept?
I wanted to know who the guards were that were on duty that night that spotted it, so we can maybe talk to them.
That's a good question. I have no idea, and of course they tell us nothing. I would suggest that you talk to the captain, Captain Razgar, at the western garrison.
Regarding the bodies in the alleys, do we have any contacts for those sightings?
There are a couple of people that should know. Unfortunately, they were questioned by others, and we weren't informed. So I have no idea.
Where are the bodies being kept?
They haven't been moved. It was deemed best to leave them there, so whoever was to investigate can check out the scene unaltered.
And is somebody going to take us to those sites?
I'm afraid not. We don't know exactly where they are.
You know there's bodies,
Alrighty
but you
then.
don't know where they are?
Yes, we got the reports, and they were scatterbrained and conflicting. We know their bodies, but we don't know where the locations are.
Didn't you just literally say that one of them was on Rose Boulevard, which was in the red district?
It is near the Rose Boulevard, but there are many, many alleys and back streets in that area. It could be anywhere near the Rose Boulevard.
Do we know who found them?
No.
Fuck.
I guess it's time to go squirrel hunting.
Yeah, I guess we don't have any questions then.
My last question then is, what happens after a week?
Well, if you cannot find who was responsible, and especially if the adolescent can't be found, then others will need to take charge of the case. And obviously, that won't look good for us, and it won't look good for you.
By others in charge, you mean
probably
the
won't be on missions.
but by others you mean the people that were just toughing their way out of here a little earlier?
Oh, they'd probably be happy to be able to take the job. The fact that they're on standby is probably a great deal of annoyance for them.
Yeah, but my question is, why are they so upset that they can't run it exactly? What is it that they're so involved with this particular matter?
He shrugs and he says, "You would have to ask them."
Yeah, that one seems like a pretty open and shut case there. Normally that would be their job, and to be just randomly, from their perspective, replaced by some random outside group, i.e. us, there's that whole, well, there's two problems the way I see it. One is there's the whole insult that, oh, we can't handle it ourselves. And then the other one, which is also an insult, is, oh, does this mean you suspect us of the wrongdoing?
Fine, fair.
So they get to roll advantage on their outrage roll.
At this point, Elru pops her head again. It's like, Valenstar's waiting. And at this point, Carl glares at her and she says, "I know, I'll be there in a minute." And she disappears again.
Alright, we should probably let him get back to work.
I agree.
All right.
Yeah, let's head on out.
So you go to head out, and Arrow pops up again, and she says, "Oh, okay. Well, good luck, everyone. I'm sure it'll be fine." And she leads you outside.
Do you know where the bodies are?
She shrugs. Oh, sorry about that. She shrugs, and then it's like, I don't know. I'm just.
You don't know if you know where the bodies are?
I'm just bouncing from appointment to appointment, and then she bounces back inside.
Yeah, I can practically hear the boing from here.
Okay, I will go ahead and move you back to the map. And all right, so what are you gonna do? So just so you know, west garrison is here. The west gate is obviously here. The northwest gate is there.
I'm not seeing
not
you
seeing the pings
ping
either.
anything.
So you're not seeing the Maven map?
Well,
we
see
see
the
the
map.
map
I
and
don't, I
like,
don't see you ping.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, you're saying there, but we can't see you pointing.
All right. So yeah, the west gate is there.
There we
The
go.
northwest gate is there. The west garrison is here. The the red light district where the Rose Boulevard is up here, and the northern tenements are here.
No,
Wait.
because they were
Right.
mentioned, do we officially know them as like a flag on the map, or are they still considered unknown to us right now?
I can add flags. It's you know where the general locations are. That's not a problem.
I realized on the map there's a thing called Necropolis.
It's a
Yep.
big graveyard.
You had lots of picnics there.
Yeah, the necropolis is over here. Oh, and there.
Somebody's looking for parts already.
Maybe.
Hey, it doesn't hurt to be ambitious.
Hey, yeah, no problem with that.
All right, so you are standing outside of one of the Nexus Guild buildings in the Nexus Guild district over here. So what are you going to do?
Well, I guess for the moment we can try and think of a plan of action. I know we should go talk to that captain, but ultimately, if we're trying to find this critter, I think the murder scenes are the best locations to start. It's tough. My gut kind of tells me that the tenements would be the more likely place that something like that would hang out, because that's probably going to get worse reporting and probably more places to hide. But on the other hand, that's right near the edge of the city. So I'm wondering if the murders near Rose Boulevard are fresher and thus the more likely that it might have found some place to hide in that area.
I'm hoping we can get a trail of some sort once we get to the first couple of victims.
So does anybody have any suggestions or recommendations?
Yeah, I think red light district is probably a good place to start. Let's see if we can find either like tracking or something like the scene of the crime, so to speak.
Yeah. I'm done with
Determine if it was actually a Krog. How do you pronounce it?
that. Kylon.
Kylon.
See if it
sorry.
was actually a Kylon or if these deaths were separate, as well as maybe like see if we can talk to some guards there, figure out who spotted the Kylon at the
I
west.
think we're going to need a larger token to mark our position on the map.
It's kind of small.
Does anybody know what one of these looks like?
Oh, actually,
That looks like a D12.
that actually reminds me. So on your way out, and I apologize for not showing this before, but on your way out, you were handed a note and or scroll, and the note had had a picture on there, and it has some information, and it should now be in your journal.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh,
I don't like it. I don't think I like it.
Now remember, we can't make any assumptions. Just because of its appearance doesn't mean it's evil.
So we should probably approach this when we find it at night, or I mean, in the day.
Yeah, I don't want to
We
set
should also split up.
that. Yeah, we should split up in the dark.
Split up at
Yeah,
night.
with a lighter or like a match maybe.
Yeah,
Right.
tops.
No lighter, only match, I think. But,
But make sure it's like a wet match, so you have to like keep relighting it.
Yeah.
how do they walk on their feet?
I don't want to know.
They're like,
They basically just bite everything they walk on.
What are the
it looks like they
things
think
coming
on
out of it?
Devok, I think you're now able to feed on your food.
pretty sure it looks like a cactus. Hey, look at the vines coming out and everything.
I think they are that guy. I think we've solved the case.
Yep.
Yeah, solve the case. Jesus Christ.
All right.
Anyway, Devon, your food is on the porch.
Okay.
Breaking the fourth wall here.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Um. So yeah, let's head to the red light district then, if everybody seems cool with that.
Yep. We're good.
And I would caution that the scroll had useful information about them.
Yeah, I read that, the stages of their life and the
Yeah,
sunlight
based
thing.
on what it says, it sounds like we're probably up against an adult.
Or no, adolescent, he said.
Yeah, that's what he said. He also said we're going to get a nice easy mission the first time.
That's I can't argue with that at all.
At least if it is an adolescent, it'll turn out there's more than one.
Well, the problem is, yeah, I think since it says that it feeds on life and plants, I mean, there doesn't seem to be any deficit of life or plants around here, so it's probably going to be growing in power fairly rapidly. If we don't catch it in the first few days, I think it's likely that it would be an adult by the time we find it.
Okay, people, let's do the walk and talk at the same time and start making our way over. It's gonna be a bit of a walk.
Now,
Oh,
where are we
yeah.
on this map so far?
So you are right here. And yeah, so I've marked the areas for you. You have the garrison, you have the
Red light
Rose
district is all the way over
Boulevard,
there.
and the
So-
tenements.
Oh, that's so far away. You know what? Should we hit up the west gate before we head up to the red light district up here, just because it's along the way?
Yeah, along those lines. Oh, geez, I must be brain dead or something. What was I thinking? Yeah, I was messing the wrong thing. Yeah, let's go swing by the gates first.
Because we could like go down this road and then walk to the gate and then just use this long road along the side to wind down to the red light district center.
Okay, so you're heading to the west gate.
Yeah, let's head to the west gate first since it's also like one of the places we need to go to.
All right, so you start heading toward the west gate. You wind up passing near some marketplaces. The market, of course, is always packed during the day, so you're zigzagging around people. You can see a lot of business, people going in and out of shops, wagons moving back and forth. And you make your way eventually through the common district, where it's not quite as crowded, but there's still a lot of people out and about. The houses in the common district seem to be fairly high quality, fairly well maintained, with reasonably wide streets, although there are plenty of smaller streets and alleys as you go through. Then you pass by the Sudaga ward, which Devak knows quite well. And the Sudaga ward. Sorry, go ahead.
We get a higher contrast marker. That one kind of camouflages in well if you don't already know where it is.
Fair enough. Let me find another one for you. Okay, I can look in here. It's all right. Let me.
Much better.
All right. Anyway, you pass by the Sudaga ward. You see a lot of large tenements here as well. It doesn't seem to be as well maintained as the common areas, but certainly better than the shanty town not too far away. And then finally, you pass through another inn and tavern district, oftentimes the first location that weary travelers will attend to as they arrive. And here it is quite crowded and packed, at least until you get to the main road, and then it loosens up a bit because of the relative size of that road. And finally, you arrive at the west gate after about 40 minutes of walking. And I want the west gate. There we go.
40 minutes, man. We were really strolling.
So as you arrive at the west gate, you can see that there are people walking everywhere. It's people coming and going. It's rather crowded. You can see that there are two wagons, with one of the wagons being stopped and seems to be currently being searched. And off to the side, you see a dwarf standing there who seems to be in charge. At least he's the one bellowing at other people, "Stand up straight! Search that wagon faster! What are you doing? You're not on vacation!" What are you going to do?
Um,
Let's
should
walk up to
probably,
him.
yeah, we should let's approach him.
All right, you make your way to the dwarf, and he looks up at you, and he kind of shakes his head, and it says, "What can I do for you?"
We were wondering. Oh, sorry, Dave. Okay.
No, you can talk.
We were wondering if you knew anything about. I'm gonna pull up the thing. Anything about the Kylon sighting that happened outside this gate, or who we could talk to about information about that?
The Kylon sighting didn't happen near this gate. Maybe you're looking for the northwest gate. But I did
it's
hear
the
about it.
Northwest Gate?
But unfortunately, it's not my concern. We've been told that some other group is going to be handling this. So, there's nothing I can do.
Okay. Can you pull up the
Excuse
map
me.
again, Jeremy? Sorry.
And is Captain Razgar based out at this gate, or is he at the northwest gate?
The West Garrison covers this gate and the Northwest Gate. So if you want to talk to him, I would suggest going to the West Garrison. It's not far from here. Just go
That's the West
and make a
Garrison.
left and go to the north a bit, and you'll find it. No problem.
Thank you for
Okay.
your time, sir.
Thanks. Sorry, I thought the sighting happened at the West Gate, not the Northwest Gate.
Well, it was the West Garrison. They control two gates.
Yeah,
Mm.
exactly. So
Got it.
I think the idea would be to go to the garrison,
Yeah.
but that's talking directly to the captain. I thought we didn't want to do that just yet.
I mean, I don't really see why we wouldn't.
Okay.
He
I
would
mean, like,
just
he's
be
gonna be
kind of
mad,
hostile.
obviously,
Yeah.
but like, I have decent persuasion. I think it'll be maybe okay.
And at least get an idea if he should be suspicious or not.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you heading to the West Garrison?
Yeah.
All right, so you walk for about 5 minutes, and you arrive at the West Garrison. You see that there are lots of training grounds and buildings on the outside. They seem to have some large lot, and then there's a walled section with a gate with two guards guarding it, but the gate is open. So what do you do?
I guess walk up, but although one thing I'm going to mention, we'll probably want to be fairly vague if there are any sort of commoners around. We'll probably want to refer to investigating a recent sighting and stating that we're on official business. I'm sure anybody in the know will understand what that means.
Yeah, I won't say it out loud. We
Yeah.
don't want to cause mass panic.
Okay.
Speaking of which, are there any commoners around, or is it mostly guards up here?
In this area, it's mostly guards. There are still commoners walking up and down the streets, but you've gotten fairly far away from them now. So you doubt they could hear you if you just talk normally.
Okay. So yeah, let's approach the guards.
All right, you approach the gate, and the guards just kind of wave you through. And one of them, it seems to be constantly staring at you, but otherwise they don't stop you.
Yeah, he's probably weird.
All right, so you pass by the guards, and you see a copper dragonborn talking to a bunch of other soldiers. Let me pull him out. So yeah, you see a copper dragonborn talking to several other soldiers, and as you approach, he stops talking and he shoos them away, and then he says, "Well, you know what to do." And then he turns around to look at you guys. All right. Well, just so you know, oh, he looks at you. Oh, wait. I recognize one of you, or two of you, at least. You were at the Nexus Guild, so you must be novices. Am I correct?
That is correct.
Yep.
Well then, novices. I'm afraid there are no tours today, and I'm rather busy. So how can I help you?
We were actually wondering if we could talk to you about getting any information about the recent Kylon sighting.
He looks back and forth between you, and then Oreo, with your high insight, you notice him quickly clench his fist and then unclench it, and then he says, "They sent novices. Am I to understand this correctly?"
Yes.
Look, man, we're just the messenger, but yes, we are novices.
He looks down for a moment, and then he looks up again, and he says, "I am honor bound to assist you.
Well, thank you.
I would suggest that you talk to Murr. He is in that building over there." He points to one of the barracks. "He is the only one in there. You should be able to find him. He is the one who made the report."
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I just wonder where we can find Durr.
All right. So I'm assuming you head to the barracks.
Let's find Durr.
All right. So you head to the barracks and you go in, and like you said, there's only one person. He is sitting on one of the beds, kind of fidgeting. And as you enter, he stands up and looks your direction. So what do you do?
We should probably talk to him. Be like, oh, you don't have to stand up. Don't worry. We just wanted to hear what happened when you spotted the Kylon. And, if you maybe saw anything interesting about it or which direction it headed.
Oh, you're here to speak about the sighting. Yes, I've been ordered to assist you if I can. Yes, I saw the. Well, he stumbles for a moment. He says, "Well, when the Kylon was spotted, it was near the northwest gate, and it was headed northeast from there."
Okay.
And then he stops talking.
Now,
So-
when you say that it was spotted near the northwest gate, this was on the inside of it?
Yes, that is my understanding.
Well, did
Okay.
you see
Just
it,
making
or
sure
did
that
somebody
we're
else see it?
verify wasn't seen leaving versus entering.
Yeah,
Are
it
you
was-
asking if I saw it?
Yeah, did you see it? Do you know who saw it?
Do you really need to know?
I mean,
Yes.
I'll try to persuade him. It would just really help us if we could get some first-hand information about it to like gauge how powerful it is.
Go ahead and make a persuasion check.
Okay. Um. let's see.
And he
Right.
looks down for a moment and he says, of course. I wasn't actually the one who saw it. I was on duty, but I was away at the time." And then he stops talking again.
He's probably on like a smoke break or something.
Who else was on duty who might have actually been at their post?
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna be rude about it, but yeah, that's fine. Do you know who? Do you know who saw it though? We really need some first-hand information. It would really help us if you could tell us this.
He seems to be really reluctant to say anything. He's looking down, but because of your 22 roll, he winds up looking back up and he says, "Well, technically, the person who saw it was another soldier I know. Another gate guard I know by the name of Delore. He was actually on duty and spotted the creature.
Okay. Well, thank you so
Can I
much.
roll
Oh, yeah,
insight
you
and
think
try and
so?
get an idea of this guy's motives?
Sure, go ahead.
And while he's doing that, I'm gonna try and just kind of talk to Galen and be like, is there a reason why he doesn't wanna, why that soldier did not want to report it himself? Maybe you can
Uh,
ask him.
Are you asking Myr this?
No, I'm
no, she's
asking.
asking me.
Okay.
Yeah, cause
I
yeah.
could ask him, although I kind of think already that the reasoning is he was like not like he was on duty, right? But I think he wasn't actually at his post, or he was like asleep or something like
Okay.
that. I'm not sure if he actually intended to let the Kalen in, but I could
So
definitely check.
So Pico, you're paying attention to the way he's talking, and he's definitely he definitely seems like there's something that he doesn't want you to know. But at the same time he's trying to help while not giving away that information.
Yeah.
I don't know if this would be well, one thing I'm kind of looking for specifically is if I feel like he's trying to cover for himself or if I think he's trying to cover for this other person.
You get the impression that he's not concerned about himself.
Hmm.
All right.
Okay, that does make it more complicated because I thought he was just asleep or like not on guard, which is why
Mind
she
you,
was so
this is what Pico is just doing from his insight. So he technically hasn't told us anything yet. He's just
Yeah, so we don't know that.
So I'm going to approach the guy and it's like, one thing that I really want to make sure you understand is we're not here to try to get anyone in trouble. And, we're just concerned about the safety of the city. And we really don't care what blind eye we're going to have to turn if, as long as we can go ahead and make sure this Kylon is hunted down.
Okay.
So, I
Any
recognize that you're probably concerned about your friend, but we will do everything we can to make sure that he doesn't regret helping us and that you don't regret helping.
Okay, that sounds like a persuasion, so go ahead and give me a persuasion check.
Oof.
While he's making his argument, though, is there anybody else who's supporting or helping him?
Yeah, I'd probably be helping out.
Okay, so that would give you advantage, so go ahead and roll again.
Okay.
That's better.
All right, so he clenches his fist and looks down, and then he looks back up and he says, well, like I said, Delore was on duty. And, well, he asked me to return to the garrison to get his cloak and his dice set. And when I returned, Delore was pale and visibly shaken. And he told me about the creature, and he told me to keep silent about it. But I obviously couldn't, because if there's one of those creatures in the city, they will multiply, and eventually, within weeks, we'll have a big problem on our hands. And he looks away, and you can see from your insight, Pico, that he's debating with himself whether to say anything more. And then suddenly he turns back and he says, Delore isn't here. He took off a bunch of time without pay this morning. And I don't know how, but he told me he has suddenly come into money. And he needs the money because he always spends every dime, every copper that he gets. He always spends it at that damn place at the Rose Boulevard, mostly at that Golden Dice place. And I've been covering for him, and well, I'm sick of it, but I don't want him to get in too much trouble.
Well, thank you so much for your help. We'll make sure that there's no repercussions as long as we get this Kylon under control.
And who knows, maybe we'll be able to talk some sense into your friend so you don't have to worry about him so much anymore.
Well, thank you. And then he sits back on the bed. He looks exhausted. And then he says, if you need anything else, you know where I am.
Thank you very much for your time.
Cool. So yeah, let's head up to the northwest garrison. Maybe see if we can talk to. Or no, we're already there. Sorry, let's head up to the boulevard then. Yeah.
Oh, actually, before we go, one last question is, what does Captain Razgar look like? Because we didn't actually specifically ask for him when we got here, so I want to make sure that he was who we actually talked to.
Oh, the bronze one? No, I think
Yeah,
we
he
were told that
describes
was-
Captain Rasgard, and you're pretty sure that you just talked to him before coming into the barracks. And you're also sure that he's the same Dragonborn you saw at the Nexus Guild.
All right. Yeah, he did offer a little subtle clue there by, hey, I recognize you, Wario.
Yep. All right, so what do you do?
Well, if we're going to the
Oh, wait.
red light,
Did he say they were guarding?
He said the northwest gate.
Okay. Alrighty, that was
I'm
good.
thinking we have an inside job.
I think I would agree. This sounds like
Sorry, say that again.
I would agree. It sounds like a bribery situation.
Yeah, this one guard's always poor and broke, and some evil person paid him a lot of money for him to actually let the Kylon in.
Well, here's what I'm thinking is maybe it might not be as straight up as that because when he comes back, he notices that he's extremely pale, right? If he was told that a Kylon was coming in, he would be a little bit maybe more calm about it. So I think some evil person probably just paid him some money and said, "Hey, look away for a moment."
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. That's how the blackmail thing works, especially with like major political. They don't tell you what's going on, but it's like you already took the money, you're already in trouble.
Yeah, it's actually he's already in too deep.
Yeah. So, he saw that it was a Kylon coming through, and he's like, oh, shit.
Oh shit, yeah, I fucked up, exactly. So, let's go see if we can find him drunk as shit at that gambling house. Well, I mean, if you let a Kylon into the city and you're that guy, I'd assume he's probably there.
Sure.
Well,
Trying to
Yeah.
get
before
this
things get too crazy, why don't we go ahead and take a quick search at the northwest gate and see if we can spot any tracks?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
who's our trackers in the group?
Well, I can trail.
I mean, I've
I've
got a
got
4 in
survival at a
survival.
moderate level.
Okay, because yeah, if we can spot some, the problem is I bet there's a lot of like, it might like we should look for tracks there, but we might not be able to find too many because the evil people who brought it in, it seems like, would probably be trying to cover up tracks, and also there's a lot of people walking around there, seeing as it is like a gate. So
Right.
kinda
Well,
hard.
that's part of the reason it's sooner rather than later before the evidence gets thoroughly trampled. May not work, but it won't take that long.
yeah, for sure, let's do it.
All right, so you're heading to the northwest gate.
Northwest gate.
All right, so
Yeah.
you start heading that way. You pass by the warehouse district, which is a district with a bunch of massive buildings. A lot of them old and abandoned, but a lot more in constant use. And it is quite crowded and busy even there. And eventually you make your way to the northwest gate, after passing near the theater district, which is an area with lots of large buildings and a lot of well-to-do people visiting various different plays and other shows being put on. And eventually, after about 15 minutes, you arrive at the northwest gate. And as
So
you
we
arrive, as
spent
you
like around
arrive,
an hour walking, right?
say that one more time.
How long have we spent walking, and like approximately what time is it?
About an
Just out
hour.
of
So
curiosity.
it's roughly 9 o'clock.
Okay.
Anyway, you arrive at the northwest gate, and you see at this gate, you don't see any wagons, but you see lots of people on horseback. You see a lot of people on foot coming and going. It's actually really crowded. You see that there are, it looks like 6 guards on duty, and one of the guards seems to be standing apart. It seems to be a female dwarf who, like the other person standing apart, seems to be bellowing at the various people moving around, and also mostly bellowing at the guards. So what do you do?
Well, I guess we should introduce ourselves and let her know we're going to just have a look around the gate. Looking at this, it looks like we're probably more likely to find tracks on the outside, although at least on the inside, if that thing's claws left any marks, those are likely to be more persistent on the stone than in the dirt.
Sure. You can start looking. I'll walk up to the female dwarf. I don't know which one exactly. Is it this one? And
Yeah.
I'll let her know that we're here
And I'll be
to
by Pico to help him
investigate.
out. So
Yeah, for
All right.
sure.
So in that case, yep, I think I'll go ahead and go out here and then kind of search along the wall a little bit towards the outside of the gate.
Okay, so you start searching, and the rest of you then approach the dwarf.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the dwarf sees you coming, and she looks away and she yells at one of the guards to stand up straight, and then looks back and she says, "I'm rather busy. Can I help you?"
No, we're just here to let you know that we're gonna be doing some investigation of this area just really quick to because of a recent entry, and
Oh,
we just didn't want to get in your
she
way.
slaps her face, and then she says, "So you're the ones assigned to this, are you?"
Yes, that would be us.
Well, I would suggest, since you're here anyway, do you have any questions?
Um, no, not really for you. We just wanted to let you know that we were here and we didn't want to get in your way.
All right, then. All right, so going over to Pico and Oreo, you're looking for tracks, right?
Yeah. Oh, actually, I'm going to call over and say, ask who was on duty.
No, but we already know who was on duty.
Yeah, but let's
Just
see
in
if
case
that
it's anybody
matches.
else.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. I'll say actually, yeah, sorry. Can I ask who was on duty the night of the sighting?
Yeah, it was Mur and Delore, that good-for-nothing Delore.
All right, well,
Where
thank you.
exactly did the creature enter, do you know?
I think that's probably a question for Delore since she wasn't even on duty. And I
And
don't
if
really
you
want to.
find that lazy, good-for-nothing Delore, which you probably will if you go to one of those districts, like the Rose Boulevard, you better find if he's involved, he's gonna have to answer to me.
All
Dang,
right.
that dwarf was angry.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of makes sense. She's the commanding officer.
I
But
mean,
yeah,
this gate was closed. It better have been closed, and if it wasn't closed all night long, there's gonna be some problems. I'm
of
sorry.
course.
It's not. You're not the ones responsible. I know, but I am not happy.
No, I understand your anger, and trust me, we're going to find him and talk to him about it.
Not happy.
All right. All right, back to Pico and Oreo. So what exactly are you two doing?
Basically checking along the walls and stuff like that, looking for any sort of tracks. See if anything happened near the gate. Maybe if that doesn't yield anything, look a little ways down the road. But yeah, mainly just seeing if any lurking was happening on the sides, since walking right up the middle of the road might not have been a good idea if something nasty's trying to sneak in.
So are you looking for Kylon tracks? Are you looking for a wagon? What exactly are you looking for?
Well, I'm looking for anything that seems out of the ordinary. I'd certainly be particularly interested in pylon tracks, but given that most people are going to be approaching on the roads, there shouldn't be a whole lot of milling on the along the walls. I'm going to look at anything out of the ordinary, something that doesn't seem like guard patrol. Like if I see an unusually large amount of footprints, especially if it doesn't look like it's the kind of footwear that the guards use. Up, see, I should have taken cobbler. Uh, yeah, if there is any evidence of wagons or riding beasts that would be going here, because again, that wouldn't really make a whole lot of sense given the main road. So yeah, just any unusual activity versus, yeah, I would imagine most of the time it's just going to be normal traffic walking by the buildings, or maybe guard patrols, and you'd almost expect they'd have beaten a path of their own if they're used to walking the outside of the walls, if they even do that, since they've got the top of the walls they can use. So.
Fair enough. So, and Oreo, you're helping them do that with survival?
Mhm. Yep.
All right, so yeah, go ahead and make a survival check with advantage. All right, yeah, you're looking around you're looking around the outside of the walls. It really isn't anything in the dirt outside. I mean, you do see some tracks that look like paths, which are probably where the soldiers would walk. It looks like those aren't used or haven't been used in a while. Certainly not last night. And otherwise, you don't find any unusual tracks in the dirt. And as far as the main road, you you find actually wagon tracks, and the tracks seem to be fairly heavy. The grooves in the dirt fairly thick or deep, and which seems to indicate that the whatever was in the wagon was heavy. But that's all you find on the outside.
And of course, heavy loads coming through the gate's not necessarily unusual. Actually, I'm going to ask one of the guard right here next to me.
It might be. The other gate was where the lots of wagon traffic was. This seems to be horseback mostly only. So the road out of here might not quite be good for wagons, but it might be good for stealth.
I know what I was thinking. Excuse me, sir, is this gate routinely used for wagon traffic, or is it mainly people on foot and horses?
The soldier looks at you and says, "No, normally the west gate or the north gate is what you would use for wagons, or if you want to go the other side of the city, the southeast gate, and maybe the south gate. But yeah, the northwest gate isn't used very often because it's a long distance in order to house your caravans. You'll find where the caravan districts are, the nearby gates are where the wagons go for the most part.
Ask him why they would use a wagon out here.
Are there any known exceptions? The times when wagon traffic does come through here, or is it
on
very
occasion. Usually, if there's a special shipment from in the outer town, if you look beyond here, you can see there's buildings, and of course, there's farms and whatnot. And sometimes for locals, they'll come through here because they're going to go right to a market, and maybe they want to be in a market that's close by. But as far as I know, nothing like that's has happened in the last week. Although before that, maybe a week and a half, there was a few wagons that came through. As far as I know, anyway. I'm not here all the time, of course.
Then one last question: does this gate log when wagons come through?
So that one more time about the wagons.
Does this gate log?
Oh yes, it's rare enough that we keep track of that kind of thing.
Alrighty. Who could I speak to about access to that log?
He points to the female dwarf. That's the sergeant over there. You might want to talk to her.
You want me to ask her for the logs?
Yep, sure.
Okay. I'll say, we may have found something. Do you think that we could have access to the logs of wagon passing through?
If you tell me what you're looking for, I can certainly look for you. What do you want to know?
We
Hold
just
on a second, Galen. Let
yeah.
me double check something. Regarding the wagon tracks, how fresh did they look to me?
You rolled a 20 or 22, something like that. So yeah, with that kind of roll, they look like they're from maybe a day, two at the most.
Can I start following those tracks while these guys are taking care of with the dwarf?
Yep. You can certainly follow the tracks. The tracks go along the road, and if you were to follow, they keep going to about there. You see where your token is, and at that point, the tracks completely vanish. As in, it's not like the wagon stops. It's as in mid-track, mid-motion, it vanishes.
Somebody casted pass without
Yep.
trace.
So we're
That's
specifically
not
looking
good.
for any wagon traffic in the last week, particularly in the last few days.
Yeah, like last 2 to 3 days, or in the
But
last
let's
week.
say get the whole week just to be sure.
Yeah, just to be safe.
All right, if you just wait here, and then she disappears for a few minutes, and then she comes back, and she says, "Yeah, the last wagon that came through here was 9 days ago."
Okay. That's not good.
Yeah, this wagon wasn't logged.
Yeah, that's bad.
All right.
All right. Well, I'm not gonna tell her that, but we should hurry and see if we can find Delore, because it's looking pretty clear that he let this wagon in.
Let's measure the width of these tracks and see if there's any indication we can get an idea of the width of the wheels. I suspect if we find this thing, it'll be obvious, but just in case, it'll be nice to have a kind of a quick way to rule it out. But basically, that can be just as simple as taking the rope and just kind of stretching across and making a little mark on the rope.
Yeah, the tracks are deep enough that you won't have any trouble measuring the width.
Okay. So measuring the width of the wheels themselves and how far the wheelbase is, or
Sure.
wagon width.
Yep.
All right, let's head over to, what was it, the Golden Dye on the Rose Boulevard? Do we wanna talk to Delore first, guys, or do we want to see
think
if
we're
we can
gonna
find
find
out
him
about the killings?
I think we're gonna find
Yeah.
them there.
Well, yeah, but there was also 3 disappearances in the Rose District that we could also investigate.
Yeah,
Or do we think
it's
that's
all
kind of a red
convenient.
herring?
And just so you know, you've searched outside of the walls for tracks, and you followed the wagon tracks, but you haven't done any other searching for tracks on the inside.
Oh, we searched outside? I thought we searched inside.
Yeah, that's right. He was specifically searching outside.
Can I spend the time that they were talking to her to do that kind of investigation with like this alleyway?
Okay. Yep. Go ahead and make a tracking or survival check.
I'll help Oreo.
Okay. Why am I not seeing the toggle? Oh, there it is. It's all the way at the top.
All right. That's a 20. So, yep, you do indeed find tracks. And it's pretty clear right away that the tracks come from one of these creatures. And it looks like the tracks... It looks like the tracks are heading northeast.
Okay.
and it
Like,
leaves the
north-
road and seems to be
northeast.
moving along the wall.
Oh, that part. Okay, so behind the dwarf area, so this general area.
Yeah. So they seem to basically just go off the map.
Well, we could go ahead and try and keep following them. I mean, if that's kind of taking us where we're going anyway.
I agree. That's the thing. I think that's the way to take this.
Yeah.
Follow the path.
Okay. So you follow the tracks. I'll go ahead and move you back to the map. So you follow the tracks, and the tracks go along the wall for a decent distance, and then suddenly they turn toward the road and wind up going into the red light district. As you enter the red light district, you see that there's one major road, and it's what they call the Rose Boulevard. And then there's a maze of side roads and alleyways off either direction from the main road. And the tracks lead down one of these side roads toward an alley. And you find yourselves walking down a narrow street. And in this area, the buildings aren't as in good of condition as some of the other areas of the city. You can see that the road isn't as well maintained, and as you're walking, suddenly you hear screams, and you see a person running towards you, and you see down off to the right, you see a person running away down the street, and in the distance, you see a person running away from you. And so what do you do?
Somebody stop them.
Okay.
Run, you can go catch the guy that's running away.
All right, you
Careful,
go.
it
You
might
go
be
to
a
catch
bit.
him, and he's trying to book past you. Go ahead and make an acrobatics or athletics check. Whoever's trying to catch the guy running, which will be right here.
How badly do we? Well, I guess.
All right, you
Yeah.
catch him. Regu catches him easily, and he seems frantic. And you hear more screams, and he says, "I gotta go. Let me go."
What's the hurry?
They're creatures. There's people up there, and I can't do anything about it. I gotta go.
Point the
Where?
direction, and then you
Show
can go.
He points the direction toward an alleyway, and let me go ahead and start revealing some stuff here. Oh, that's fine.
I didn't know darkness could cast such a big area.
Yeah. There you go. So,
Oh, great.
so you see the screams seem to be coming from this alley over here. And at the end of the alley, you can see this small creature about the size of a large dog. And it's hunched on all fours, but looks similar to that picture of the Kylon you have, just smaller, and the red area is not glowing as brightly.
I call out hatchlings and immediately gesture north.
Yeah, let's slaughter
And
this
at
thing.
this point, I am going to say it's time to roll initiative. We'll get into place, and then
Get up
roll
here,
initiative.
boys.
And yeah,
This
I'll
has
say
been a
that
long
I'm
fight.
right
We're already on
there.
round 99.
Question.
So,
Are we
Ire, go
allowed
ahead and
to-
move to where you want to be at the beginning, and then go ahead, Joel.
Yeah, sorry. Are we allowed, as magic users, are we allowed to cast combat spells outside of the guild grounds, or was that still be illegal?
It is. You are still novices, so doing that in public is technically illegal. However, at this point,
Who's going
the
to
people
see
have
us?
all run away, assuming you didn't stop that guy back there. They've all run away, so you don't see anybody around.
Yeah, so it's pretty obscure enough that you can get away with it.
So I could get away with it, and probably they wouldn't be too mad if I was using magic to stop a Kylon.
For some
So
reason,
long
the
as-
initiative rolling's not working for me.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Shane,
Me
are you
neither.
gonna move up?
Yeah, let me go ahead and reset the scripts real quick.
Mr. Shane.
Shane.
Did we lose you, dude?
He
We
said
may have
BRB,
lost
but he
Shane.
didn't say if he was back.
I can give him a call.
He said BRB, but he never said back.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's weird. He might be being chewed out by some like CO.
So it looks like it's working now.
Yeah, it is.
I just
nice.
reset the scripts.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have a horrible initiative this time.
Hell yeah.
Just a pretty mediocre one. Not bad.
Not bad.
All right. I'm assuming Shane is sitting this one out. So does everybody else roll?
Yep.
There we go.
We'll be back soon.
Okay, fair enough. So I'm gonna
I can
change.
call you after the combat.
All right. So, Pico, you see the hatchling. You see the hatchling to the north, near the end of the hallway. I'm sorry, near the end of the alley, and it isn't facing your direction at the moment. It seems to know you're there, but it is actually facing this way. And the direction it's facing is where the screams are coming from. So what do you do?
All right. Well, I think first item of business. In a case like this, I think I am going to proc feline agility to double my movement. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
And at this point, go ahead and sit there because I have more to reveal.
Oh boy.
Reveal area.
Ah, there's fucking people.
All right. So you've. Oh wait, there's more. Sorry, I have not revealed everything there is to reveal. There we go.
How
Nice
revealing.
knowing you, Pico.
So what you see, Pico, is Kylon approaching several people at the end of the alley, and it is those people that are screaming.
All right. Well, I'm
Oh.
calling out. There's 4 down the alley, and I am going to go ahead and start by stabbing the crap out of this one.
Okay.
Okay.
That first one is a hit.
I am shocked.
All right. So you stab it for 4 points of damage.
And I'll go ahead and do an offhand attack on the thing as well.
All right. That's also a hit.
All right, and so we're going to have to subtract 3 damage from this one, so
Okay.
that's another 4.
4. It is still alive, but you obviously you've hurt it badly, and you can see in the areas where you've stabbed and tore its flesh, you can see a glowing red inside, and it's dripping. And when it hits the ground, you see it sizzle. Is that the end of your turn?
No, I am going to... Actually, let's see. The other 4 hatchlings, they're actually moving towards the villagers.
Yes.
Shoot, I'm trying to debate on whether... Oh, can I roll an insight to get an idea of whether they'll aggro to me or focus on the villagers?
Sure. Go ahead.
All right.
All right, that was barely enough. And it looks like the hatchlings over here aren't paying attention to you yet. They know you're there, but they're still focused on the villagers or the townspeople. The hatchling you just attacked is obviously focused on you.
All right. I am then going to go ahead and move to... Can I move here?
Okay.
And for what it's worth, I mean, if they're not paying attention, it's probably not a big deal, but I guess I kind of want to roll stealth anyway, just to make sure that they don't alert too much to something right behind them.
Well, like I said, they knew you were there already. They were just mainly focused on the people. So I'm not sure rolling stealth would do you any good in this case.
It's not to outright hide. The idea is just to make sure that they don't suddenly like, oh crap, like he's bearing down on me. Just like they know I'm there, but don't realize I'm coming up right on them.
Okay, so you're trying to be unthreatening.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
All right.
All right, that's a success. And now is that the end of your turn?
Yes.
All right, Galen, you saw Pico run down the alley, attack a hatchling, and go around the corner. People are still screaming. What are you going to do?
Sorry. I will. I think I need to move towards the alleyway. So I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then even though there's people there, I think I'm gonna fire a firebolt at this hatchling.
Okay.
And can I ask something first? Actually, what in the hell are these things?
Those are bodies.
Those
Are they
They
bodies?
are bodies, and they seem to
They
be
look
made out of
weird.
stone.
Yeah, they're like mini Medusas. What the hell? Okay. Got it. So firebolt.
So
Guess I
what
just-
you know of these things is when they kill something, they drain the energy, and what's left is a stone husk.
That's
So they
terrifying.
inject them with cannabis as they do this?
I wish.
I don't think it's that kind of stone.
Anyway, what are you doing?
I'm gonna shoot a firebolt at the weak hatchling, so it won't be able to flank Pico.
Okay.
Hopefully the people forgive me.
Well, obviously you hit. Critical
Holy
hit.
shit.
And there's
I
no
mean-
way you can't kill him.
Yeah,
So-
it doesn't really matter. It has no health. I wish I could have seen one of the other ones.
So
Spirit
here's
of
what
Raptor
happens.
lives.
Here's what happens when you kill him.
Oh, Max did.
He starts collapsing, and then suddenly there's this bright white explosion, and for a second the stone is on fire before it goes out, and the body is completely gone.
Okay.
That's the end of
Awesome.
your turn.
Yeah, I don't think I can move anymore since I used my.
Wait, it completely
Action
incinerates?
attack.
It just completely just disappears? Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
basically
I'm
it
not gonna-
essentially exploded, and there was nothing left.
how the hell are we supposed to prove that we killed these things? Okay, great. Okay, cool. That's all right.
We'll figure that out.
Well, they didn't have a quota, so we've got some others we can save here. Well, we've
They're
got
gonna-
Novices too.
I don't
They'll-
think we
they'll
want to
te- they'll
save
have-
any of these.
They'll
Anyway.
have to take our word for the hatchlings, and maybe there's some residue on the rock that we scrape up.
Anyway, Galen, is that the end of your turn?
I don't think I can take a bonus action to do extra movement, right?
No.
Okay, so then I'm
It's
just
an
gonna...
action to dash.
Yes. So I'll just stand here. My turn is up.
All right, so the hatchling, since Pico was unthreatening, I'm going to go ahead and make a perception check there. He knows Pico's there, but whether he realizes that Pico means to attack or he's just another more prey to deal with later. And apparently he's more prey to deal with later. So he
Oh,
moves
shit.
forward and he attacks one of the townspeople. And somehow he goes to claw the townsperson, and she's screaming and getting on top of the box and trying anything she can to get away, and somehow she avoids getting clawed. Devac.
Okay. I move.
Okay.
I move again.
Yes,
You're
sir.
gonna dash.
Yeah.
Okay.
My turn's over.
Fair enough. All right, Hatchling 3. He's also going to make a. Actually, Devac just ran up, and now there are two of them. And so I think at this point that means that he is going to turn around and attack. So he is going to rush toward Devac, and he is attempting to claw you with the 16, which misses. All right, Oreo. So Devok has been engaged. The one of the hatchlings narrowly missed attacking or slashing at a townsperson. What are you going to do?
Yep, I'm gonna go ahead and move. Use my bonus action to dash. Get into its face and slash it with pain,
Okay,
which is one of my daggers or my side weapon.
that's it.
And so I'm gonna do that, and then
So
that.
slash him for 7 points. And that 3 points is enough to take him out.
I'm going to stay put. And that's it.
Okay.
Right.
Wait,
I
what?
didn't want to interrupt.
Oh,
I didn't want to interrupt anybody else's turn, but I'm kind of missing somebody, Jeremy.
Who are we missing?
My Char Owl.
Okay.
what is that thing you attacked with? Oreo?
What thing that I
A
attacked?
sai?
Oh, yes, it's a side
Yeah,
weapon.
sai.
It's let me
It's
put it in.
Raphael's Ninja Turtle weapon.
Well, that
Yeah.
doesn't really help me, to be honest, but
Okay.
that's okay. I'll just look it up.
All right. So Ragu, is Char going before or after you?
Char is going to go ahead and go before me
Okay.
because he's going to fly down here to do a distraction help action for me.
Okay.
And I'm going to. Come on.
So you're trying
Come on.
to distract the Kylon from the woman who was attacking? Okay.
Yeah, Char's giving me the help action here the distraction there to prevent that woman from dying, and
Fair
I'm
enough.
trying to hit it with the.
Mind Sliver. All right.
Yeah.
So that's an intelligence save, it looks like.
Yeah.
Which it does not make. So which means
All right.
that it takes 6 points of damage.
And the next time it makes a saving throw, it has to remove 1d4 from that save.
All right. And what you notice is that their faces, as far as you could tell up till now, they had no mouths. It's just a smooth surface. But suddenly that smooth surface breaks apart and it opens up to reveal this red glow and rows of teeth, and a screech comes from it as your spell basically damages its mind. Is that the end of your turn?
See, that's all the more I can move. Now he did his Char did his distraction,
He did.
but yeah, he still has to get away.
Okay, go ahead and move him then.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure how far he went, but about there, I guess.
That's fine. All right, the hatchling here next to Pico is going to go ahead and attack Pico because, well, he's right there. And they've determined that you guys are a threat. So he's going to claw at you with a 19, hitting you, unless you have any way of countering it. And at this point, his claws slash you for 3 points of damage, and then the wounds burn for another point, so doing 4 points of damage total. Why do you have 8 out of 4?
Because I updated the wrong number.
Okay, fair enough. And then Hatchling 1 kind of briefly glances at the scared townspeople, deciding that you're more of a threat. And at this point in time, he opens his mouth. His face splits apart as fire erupts from it. At Pico. And with a 14,
That misses.
that does miss Pico. It lands, it hits the box behind Pico, which catches on fire. And that is the end of round 1. And Pico, the box behind you is lit up, but it's not enough to cause you any damage or any issues at this point in time. So what are you going to do?
Well, I was hoping to be able to rush in a little bit better. Well, I am going to go ahead and stab this hatchling.
Okay.
Let's see, dagger.
You stab at it, but it jostles and moves out of the way in a kind of stilted movement. Is that the end of your turn?
No. I'm going to go ahead and move around it. Actually, over here where these crates are, how hard would it be to... Or is like, do I have the ability to get up onto the roof?
The crate is maybe a couple of feet, and the roof would probably be around 10 feet or so. So you'd have to be able to jump about 8 feet.
If it's wooden buildings, couldn't his claws just dig in like climbing spikes?
The
He is
roof
a kid cat.
overhangs, and so you'd have to kind of climb up an overhang, which is pretty difficult. He can make a climbing check. You can try that, but it'll be difficult.
To actually get bonuses on climbing anyway, so if you want to try that, Dave,
climbing of 10.
it wouldn't be that.
And let's see, I try to remember the way the movement worked. So it's like the movement you've already done, 5, 10, 15. Actually, if I've got to make a climbing check anyway, can I climb right where I am right now going up?
Yep, there's a box right next to you, so it's on fire, but there's still plenty of box to climb on.
All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and try that. So I guess I'll go ahead and back up one. Or I'm already on it. Okay, so yep, I'll go ahead and try and do that climbing check.
Yep, go ahead. It's a DC 15.
All right. Climbing. Oh, wait a minute. No, climbing's athletics, isn't it? Or is it dex or acrobatics?
I believe it's athletics.
In that
So yeah, it'd be an athletics check.
All right, well, in that case, I probably am not going to do that. Yep, athletics. Never mind. So I'm just going to go ahead and back up and make room for everybody else.
Okay.
In fact, actually, I'll squeeze behind here.
All right. So, Galen, it's clear that the enemies have been engaged. You can hear the sounds of combat from around the corner. So, what are you going to do?
Okay, sorry. I want to shoot one of them, but hold on. So I'll move up one. No, I know. I'm gonna move first. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe I can shoot past Oreo.
Yep.
Would I get minuses for that, or am I good?
It's fine. She's an ally, so it's not a problem.
Okay.
You only move 4. You could step into that space fire and back up.
Sure. Okay. I'll step there. Should I attack Hatchling 2, or would that be a little risky?
Well, right now the villagers are the ones in peril, and they're probably weaker against this thing than we are.
So yeah, I'll go for it. I'll shoot a firebolt at Hatchling 2 then.
Okay.
Hopefully I don't miss. Oh, bad.
All right. So you shoot.
Wait. Can I use Hold on. Let me look at my feats. Can I use favored by the gods for this? No, it's a save or mess an attack roll. Does it? Can I add 2d4 to make it not a crit, or does it not matter? Can I not use that on crits?
Sorry,
yeah. So can you use favored by the gods? First level. You can roll 2d4 and add it to the total. Yeah, you could do that. You can use you can roll that.
Then I will that.
Okay, so that becomes an 8.
Oh.
But that shouldn't kill one of the villagers, right? I don't kill one of the villagers.
Let's
Please.
see. That's a line. Let me go ahead and make a.
Well,
This
they
is-
are. Looks like they're short, and the villagers seem to be on top of some debris and not
Yeah,
directly in
that's
line.
fair. I'm gonna say it hits. I'm gonna say it hits the near the box that the villager is
Okay.
standing on, but doesn't actually hurt the villager herself.
Oh, thank God. All right. Okay, it's fine. It's gonna be okay. I'm gonna step back and pretend that didn't happen.
Fair enough. Is that the end of your turn?
Yeah, that's the end of my turn.
All right. The hatchling was distracted by the owl. He turns around, notices the group of people, and decides to run straight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Straight toward them, and it stops. It stops there, and then it opens its mouth and fires a flame at Oreo. But it hits the side of the building instead. All right, Devok, you can see the 3 creatures in your sight. One of them just fired at Oreo. What are you going to do?
I'm going to shoot Hatchling 4 with an Eldritch Blast.
Okay. That hits,
Jeez.
obviously. And you just destroyed it in one hit.
Well done.
Is that the end of your turn?
No. Yes.
All right.
You
So
only get 1 Eldritch Blast at this level?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay, I thought you got more than 1. Never mind.
That's when you level up more.
all right. Oreo, you can see that there are 2 left. So what are you going to do?
Yep, I'm gonna go up to it and I'm gonna take out Fury and swipe it in the face.
All right. You stab it in the face quite handily. And you finish it off. Oh, and as you finish it off, I haven't been doing this properly, my bad. As you finish it off, it explodes into a ball of white fire. And at this point, come on, roll. Go ahead and make a DC 10 Dex save. Oreo.
Yep. Hold on.
All right.
Barely made it.
You dodge out of the way. It would have been 1d6 fire damage, but because you dodged out of the way, you don't take any.
Okay. Bonus action, because that was only my normal thing. Can I
Okay.
throw I'm gonna throw pain at its face. At the one over here.
All right, fair enough. That hits. And it sticks in him, doing 5 points of damage.
I'm hoping that's enough of a distraction to it'll be appealed by us, and that'll be my move.
All right. So that brings us back to Ragu. You see that there's one left. Your owl was able to successfully distract the one previously from the townspeople. So what are you going to do?
All right, my owl is going to fly down here into a swooping fashion, and he's going to give me the help action before swooping away. And my move is to come right up here, right next to Ori, and for Chuck.
What are you doing?
Chucking my dagger.
Okay, that hits. Go ahead and roll damage. All right, so the dagger sticks in him, and then he explodes in a white fire explosion. And at this point in time, the combat has finished. So
I kind of turn my head to Ori and say, "Nice throw."
Actually, can I go and quickly check if my thing didn't also explode in the madness?
You go and you find it, and it is charred. It definitely, is definitely in the explosion, but it still seems to be in one piece.
Okay, then I look back and everyone's like, thank you. And then I put it away.
And at this point in time, with the creatures gone, the townspeople at this point in time start running, and the woman, as she's trying to squeeze past you, says, thank you," and then continues to try to get out of the alley. Are you stopping them?
Yes, because we got two things. First, we need to find out if they've seen any others, and number two, we want to make sure that the only mystical stuff they saw happen was from the hatchlings.
Okay. So you managed to stop them, so what exactly do you say?
I can help him too.
Yeah,
Well-
you'll probably want to do the talking, but first thing, have you seen any other hatchlings?
No, just here.
Okay,
All
and then
right.
I'll step up and look them each in the eye and say, "We're so glad that we got to you in time, but it would do us you'd be doing us a very big solid if you could really not mention anything besides the hatchlings that happened here today, as in no magic."
And
Do
I'll
you think
kind
you
of
can
try to
do
back
that?
him up on that.
Oh yeah, they nod. It's like, of course, you saved our lives. I don't know. We never saw you. We just ran away.
Sounds good to me. Continue running away.
And then they take off.
Move out of the way.
So you find yourselves in a back alley. You see that there are 3 bodies that seem skinnier than they should be, almost as if their fluids were sucked out.
Yeah.
And they're laying there, and made of stone. However, you do notice that there's shredded clothing and other items near them that are not made of stone. So it only seems to change the flesh into stone.
Okay, can I kind of want to do like a medicine check on them. So, I mean, it's kind of gross, but I'm gonna try and like get through the stone and see exactly what these things are doing to people. Like, are they draining
that's
their
gross.
insides? Or like, it is gross, but like, are they draining their insides, or are they like, are their insides still stone? What's going on here?
Okay, so yeah, you go to check one of them out, and as you start prodding, the stone cracks and breaks. It seems to be fairly brittle. So go ahead and make a medicine check.
Can I make an apothecary check, actually? That'll be applicable here? Apothecary?
Sure.
Okay, cool,
And
thanks.
while he's making the check, what's everybody else doing?
I'm going to look around, see if we've got any tracks, get an idea where they came from, see if there's any more in this area.
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
help him out.
Go ahead and make a survival check with advantage. And so you're looking for tracks. You're looking at the bodies to see if you can figure out what's going on with them. What's everybody else doing, if anything?
I'm gonna go ahead and help too with my owl. We get a +3 on perception, so maybe we'll be able to see something.
Okay, what's your owl looking for?
Tracks, hunt down, see where they came from.
Okay, so the owl's checking. All right, so with a 15 plus the help with the owl, you are able to find tracks. Once they leave the alley, the tracks seem to head northwest and then southwest. These are the same tracks you followed from the northwest gate, and there are tracks headed southeast. And when we get back to Galen, as you're investigating the body, what was your... Oh, it was a 12. All right,
It's
so as you're
12, not very
investigating the
good.
body, the inside the stone is completely hollow.
Oh, God.
You
That's
aren't sure exactly what's going on, but using your medical skill, you're not detecting any sort of fluids or flesh or bone or anything behind.
Okay, cool.
Quick question, which was the other direction the tracks went?
They went northwest and then southwest toward the northwest gate, and then southeast.
Okay. All right. This is not good. This potentially leads me to believe that there's a possibility that there might not have just been one adolescent that was smuggled in. In
Yeah.
fact, this makes me wonder, what if, well, last week.
Unless it's
I don't know,
already been procreating since it arrived here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure it has been, but I think there's a lot. They brought in a lot more than one adolescent.
Did they procreate asexually?
Yes.
Do we know
Yeah.
this? Okay.
They just absorb life force and then pop out babies. Kind of like worms.
So they could have just smuggled one and then had a few victims ready to feed
Yep.
it right away.
That's true. Although it says that they can draw like power from plants too, so they may have just like given it a bunch of carrots or something weird. But like,
Well, I think they
either way.
meant like a living plant, like it can suck out 10 trees or one human.
Yeah, got you.
A question about the tracks that lead southeast. Do they look like they are approaching this direction only, or does it look like some might have left here going southeast?
Let's see, you got a 15. So yeah, the tracks going southeast are going away from here, and it seems to be tracks from one creature. And the tracks coming to here, in fact, were for one creature.
Do they actually match those particular footprints by any chance?
Say that again?
Do those footprints match?
Yes, they match.
Well, I think if we follow these tracks to the southeast, that's going to lead us to the next crime scene.
Yeah.
How many bodies were here specifically in this particular spot?
It's like 3.
They're
So
they're actually 4 because the 2 over here are kind of stuck together. And now that you've kind of stopped to actually check out the bodies, you realize that these foreigners were tabaxi.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Interesting.
So, is there anything else you're doing in this alley?
Do we have a map with us at any given point, or is the map just something that we consciously are aware of, like where we're at generally?
They probably have maps of the cities, so I could make the assumption that you guys have a map.
Okay.
Obviously, at this level, it's going to be a fairly normal sized map. It's not going to be some giant map with all the routes, all the streets and everything, but it'll have the general areas and the large roads.
Okay, that's enough for me. I'm gonna make a note on that map for my sake as to where we found these bodies at.
Okay.
All right, and probably not likely to come up with anything. Do I have any indication that I recognize any of these tabaxi?
It would be really hard to tell. Like I said, because they seem to be shrunken and stone made and petrified. A lot of the features aren't really recognizable, so you don't recognize anybody. But you don't know if that's because there are none that you know, or just because they look too different.
Alrighty. Well, shall we go follow tracks?
Let's.
Yes. Yes, we should.
All right, and I feel like I've given up half my life for ire so far.
Yeah, whatever happened to him?
He vanished. Apparently, this was too much responsibility for a first mission.
Really?
Should I call him?
Yeah, probably about that time.
Okay, I'm gonna mute up and call him then.
So what I think we'll do then is take a quick 5-minute break to call Shane and see if he has time to come back, and I will heat up my tea, and then we'll continue.
Okay.
So mute.
Stupid hatchlings.
Mhm.
Didn't mm, Joel's character happen to have the feat with the healer's kit that will grant healing without necessarily using magical? Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
okay,
have that.
okay.
How long does it take to use that thing?
Isn't it I don't know, I guess Jeremy is I mean, he's cleaning up his heat, but I guess I figured it would be like a 10-minute thing. I don't
I
think
was
it's
gonna say I thought medicine checks was 10 minutes and then a go.
that's usually how we run it at the beginning with the other one, but
Yeah, I don't know. Shane isn't responding to my calls either, so
What's up?
no.
Hmm.
Do you think he got called to?
Yeah, they probably called him up for something.
All right, so no luck with Shane.
Yeah, no luck with Shane.
All right, then when you guys are ready, we can just continue then.
Yeah, I'm ready.
ready.
All right. So you make your way. You follow the.
one thing, Jeremy, we want to take however many minutes it takes for Galen to help Pico with a little bit of healing.
Okay.
Yeah, let's heal up.
You're gonna
He's using
use
with the
your
healer's
healer's kit.
And I'll use the healer perk thing to allow it to do like a full heal.
Yep. So just so you know, you get essentially 10 uses out of a healer's kit because it
Oh,
has a
okay.
certain amount of bandages and everything inside. So this will consume one of those uses. And
I'll mark down on the notches section, so I'll put it to 9.
Okay. And then the other thing to keep in mind is a person can only be healed once until
For
they take
24.
a short rest.
Got it. Short rest. Okay, cool. Let me do the healer's kit. Should I have bonuses for that? I don't really know how that works. How do I
Yeah, let
roll for it?
me. I think it's just a d6 plus 1, so just do /r space d6 plus 1.
Oh, I don't have to like roll a medicine check or
No,
anything?
no, it's automatic.
Okay. So it should be a 2 because I've got my feet.
And you
So
forgot the
it's a
plus 1,
3.
I believe, so
Yeah,
that
but
should be a
bonus.
3.
Yeah, it's a 3.
Okay.
That kind of
Well,
sucks.
still,
Sorry about that.
that's better than a 1.
Yeah,
it
no,
got
of
me
course the
close
feet's
to
already
full.
coming in handy, so I'm liking it.
All right. So you spend some time bandaging up.
Actually, I think it says that it's a 1d6 plus 4.
Oh, does it really? All right.
The healer feat in my section says, as an action, you can spend 1 use of a healer's kit, tend to a creature, and restore 1d6 plus 4.
Fair
Ah,
enough.
So it
that's
should be
nicer.
6.
Fair enough.
Oh, that works better then.
All right. So anyway, you follow the tracks, and they're fairly easy to follow because they seem to be sticking to back roads and alleys where there are less people. And eventually, you find yourself passing near the Rose Boulevard, and you can see some of the large buildings off in the distance, the occasional red glow, but you don't get close to any of that. Instead, you wind up turning down a narrow street, which is. Oh, I'm sorry. That was the Rose Alley. Sorry, and then you leave the Rose Alley, Rose Boulevard, and you find yourself in tenements, which is basically essentially a poorer area. You might call them slums, and You see these large buildings, multiple stories that have a whole bunch of small homes inside of them, essentially like apartments. And as you're traveling down the street, you see another alley, and inside the alley you see more of the stone bodies. And you can see that there are three bodies. And as you're looking down the alley, you can see piles of trash all about. So what do you do?
Now, if I remember correctly from the notes that we were given, it was 3 foreigners, or what we discovered it was really 4 foreigners, and then the people that were dead beggars. They didn't tell us a quantity of how many people they supposedly reported, right?
I think they said three. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
pretty sure they did say three.
And nobody knows how many people that these things eat before they start multiplying.
Nope.
Probably one or less if there were 5 hatchlings.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, as you approach, there is something that a few of you notice. So Oreo and Pico, due to your high perception, you notice four hatchlings in the alleyway. So they seem to be hiding in trash, waiting to ambush somebody. At least that's the impression you get. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops, dang it.
I look over to Ragu and I kind of point in the general direction and I say, "Can you cover me?" Ragu.
Sure.
So go ahead, before you do anything, go ahead and roll initiative.
If you can cover me for this guy.
Initiative. Ooh. Not bad. Wow.
God.
Those are some solid rolls, except for Oreo.
I know.
Okay, has everybody rolled for initiative?
Oh, that's
I
sucks.
think
I had
I didn't yet. Sorry. Let
Yeah,
me
go ahead.
do that.
Never mind, Ragu. I think that at this point you guys are gonna be able to finish it off before I get to it.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a nice roll.
All right, so this is the beginning of round 1. You can see that there are 4 hatchlings hiding in trash, waiting to strike. So Galen, what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna move forward 3 and shoot at hatchling 2.
Like how we travel in like a hexagon.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, go ahead. That's a hit.
Sweet.
All right,
4.
you fire at it. The trash around it, burns a bit, and it obviously it jumps up, ready to go. Is that the end of your turn?
Yeah, that's the end of my turn.
All right. All right. Devak, you see that one of the hatchlings has been essentially woken up by fire, and I realized that was fire, so I actually should have done 2 damage to it because they are resistant to fire. I should remember that. Anyway, so what are you gonna do?
I already moved. And then I'll shoot at the same one, the hatchling 2.
Okay.
With Eldritch Blast.
Yep, that definitely hits.
9.
And you blast it into oblivion, and it explodes into this ball of white fire. The trash all around here is now on fire. All right. Is that the end of your turn?
Yep. Yes.
All right. Ragu, you see that One of the creatures has been destroyed, although the trash has been set on fire next to the wooden building. So what are you going to do?
I'm going to come running in. Actually, no, sorry. Char's going to fly down to this side and swoop by, giving the help action.
Swoop
And
by
I'm
who?
going. Sorry, this guy.
Okay.
I didn't know if you could see him, just the thing moving.
No. But that's fine. Go ahead.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There. And now I'm going to fire
What are you firing?
my crossbow.
Okay.
There we go.
That hits. Go ahead and roll damage. All right. A bolt thuds into the creature, doing 5 points of damage, and is definitely aware of you, or aware that it is visible now. Is that the end of your turn?
That is what I got right now.
All right, Pico. One of the creatures has been destroyed. Another has been attacked. What are you going to do?
Let's see. All right. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. I'll go ahead and use feline agility to get another 4 hexes closer. I am going to go ahead and attack this guy with daggers.
Okay, you go to attack, but unfortunately it's already on the move, and you miss with the first one, but hit with the second.
So 3 points on the second one.
So you strike it for 3 points, and you nearly kill it, but it is still there. Is that the end of your turn?
Nope. I am going to use the rest of my movement to retreat here and start trying to deal with this fire.
Okay. All right. So at this point in time, the hatchling that managed to hide from everyone, that is right next to Devok, attacks him from hiding, gaining advantage. So he strikes.
Oh, sorry.
So he strikes, but despite having advantage, he still manages to scratch his armor. All right, hatchling 6 is definitely badly hurt, but for some reason these things don't have the normal survival instinct. So it steps forward and
Yay.
and then attempts to hit Pico with his fiery blast,
That misses.
which misses. And Ire, are you back in the battle?
Yeah, I had a moderate emergency happen. I apologize, guys.
Yeah, no problem. At the end of this round, I'll resort the initiative, and then you can get in. All right, so Hatchling 5. Then he's seen his friends get exposed. He understands that it doesn't do any good to hide, so it moves forward and then attempts to fire its fiery flame blast at Pico. But the 13 is not good enough to hit. And then finally, Oreo, you can see that there are 4 of the creatures still standing, although the one over here by the bodies is badly hurt. So what are you going to do?
Well, there's still the one right here next to Devok, right?
Yep.
So I'm gonna step over here and attack it with Fury. Rapier.
Okay. That's definitely a hit. So you stab it for 8 points of damage, plus your sneak attack, finishing it off.
And
Is that the end of your turn?
oh, give me a sec.
Okay.
No, I think that's it. I'm gonna stay put.
All right, fair enough. All right, Hatchling 1 decides to try to shoot at Oreo with his flame, knowing after seeing what she did. 17, which I believe is a hit.
Mhm.
So you take a whopping 1 fire damage.
Cool.
And that is the end of round 1. Ire has just joined us, so I'm going to resort. Let me put this back at the top. All right then. So, Hatchling 4, deciding that you're not going to come forward and be ambushed, steps out, becomes visible, and then attempts to attack Pico with fire. And Pico gets hit with a 17, which hits, doing 4 points of fire damage.
Thank you for healing me earlier, Galen.
And Galen, you just saw your hard work healing get basically undone. So what are you gonna do?
Blasted away. Okay. Hold on, I should have looked at this earlier, but I want to see if prestidigitation is like used as a
It
bonus
can be used to
action.
put out fire, although I don't think a lot of it, if that's what you're looking for.
It's an action. Yeah, no. It can be used to put out fire, so I could help with that fire. I was looking to see if it was a bonus action.
Well, for what it's worth, I mean, we're talking about less than 30 seconds to deal with these things. The fire shouldn't be a Simpsons fire, I hope.
Yeah, let's hope. Especially not in like weird trash. Yeah, and we can deal with it afterwards. So I'll move up 1, 2, 3 here. And I'll shoot Hatchling 5.
Okay.
Since there's a lot of people go before me. Hatchling 6.
Fair enough. Just so you're shooting at Hatchling 5 with your with what?
Firebolt.
Firebolt. Okay.
Yep.
So you're aware now that that's going to do half damage.
Yeah.
It does hit. So go ahead and roll damage.
Is that your only like attacking move?
Well, I have a shocking grasp, which I could use, but I have to get close to them. So I could use that.
It's kind of funny. In terms of our like attacking spells that we have right now, ours are pretty much the same, just different like types. Because I have like ice grasp or whatever it is.
Oh yeah, I was thinking about that one, but I like lightning more. It's cooler to me.
All right. So go ahead and roll your damage. So that's 6 damage. That was a good roll. And then you finish your movement.
Yeah, actually, I think I am gonna move closer so I can start shocking, grasping, full damage. I'll move up to where Pico is, but no farther.
Be mindful that if they explode in your face, you have to do a certain roll.
Oh, what roll is that based off?
Dex.
Okay, I'm gonna stay back here.
Okay, but you got to end in your own hex. So go ahead and pick a nearby hex for you to be in.
I'll go one, but no.
Okay, fair enough. All right, Devok, you see that there are 4 alive. 2 near the stone bodies are hurt, and Pico is at half health. What are you going to do?
Oh, my turn. Okay, sorry. I didn't hear the name you said. I will move up.
And just so you're aware, if you look at your token, you'll notice that there's a red highlight around it. So you'll know it's your turn that way as well.
Sorry, I was typing something on another thing because I was answering a school thing. But okay, I will cast Eldritch Blast on Hatchling 1.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, I hope
Hatchling 1 is the one up here.
Yeah, I'm betting on just one shot.
Yeah, that's a good choice. Weaken him up.
Yep, that hits.
7?
And you hit with 7, but he's still alive.
No.
No. Okay.
Is that the end of your turn?
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Pico, you see that the 3 over here are all badly hurt, and there's 1 at full health behind. What are you going to do?
I am going to try and follow up on Hatchling 1. I am going to go ahead and just, I think I'm going to throw my daggers.
Okay,
Is that the same roll basically?
I believe so.
All right, so first I'm going to throw at Hatchling 1.
Okay.
Just make sure you're within 20 feet of it, because that's the minimum. That's the maximum for not imposing disadvantage.
In that case, let me move here.
Okay. So, yep, 11's a hit.
All right.
All right, you take out Hatchling 1. It explodes, but you notice that the Hatchling 5, which is in range, and Hatchling 6, which are both in range of that explosion, do not seem to be affected.
All right, well, I'm going to throw the other dagger at Hatchling 6.
That's a hit,
Yeah,
and
that's 4.
and it explodes.
All right, and I am now going to, let's see, I'm just going to back up here, and I'm probably just going to start dealing with this fire for the rest of the battle, because now my best weapons are gone.
Okay.
Wait, did they explode with the hatchlings, or are they still there?
They didn't, the dice didn't blow up before, so they should be okay. Just slightly charred, I think, was my understanding.
Got it.
All right, Ragu, you see that now there are 2 hatchlings left, and Pico is at half health. What are you going to do?
Char's gonna swoop down to give me the help action, and I'm going to run straight up here. My first swing. Oh, as I'm moving, I literally just drop my crossbow to draw my long sword and K-bar.
All right.
All right. Long sword on number 5.
Go for it. That is a hit. And you slice him. And as you slice into him, I am going to need you to make a DC 10 dex save. You would have made it either way, but you don't.
But you're right. That one shouldn't have been an advantage.
But you made it either way.
That
so
would have
fine.
been the 10, though. Okay.
But you did take it out.
And then my offhand is going to be throwing my knife at this guy.
Okay. And you do not get advantage on that, so you did not hit.
Oh, wait a second. Okay, let me take that off there.
All right, is that the end of your turn?
That would be yes.
All right, Ire, welcome back to the fight. You see that there's 1 left who hasn't been hurt way at the end. So what are you going to do?
Okay, I'm a bit far away, so I'm just going to walk up to Pico here. Put my hand on his shoulder. How many points are you missing?
4.
And I'll just use my lay on hands for the 4 points there.
So that
to
would
bring him
mean
back up to 4.
You'll have 1 point left, I believe.
Yep.
Fair enough. Is that the end of your turn?
Yep.
All right, Oreo, you see that there's 1 left that's standing right next to Ragu's dagger. So what are you going to do?
Right here and throw both my daggers at it.
All right.
So just make sure, how much point did I get healed, or?
4.
You actually lay on hands.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was a spell.
All right,
Really
you do 7 points on the first hit and miss on your second hit.
Okay, and I'm going to stay put.
All right, so this is the beginning of round 3. Hatchling 4 gets to move, and he is simply going to try to set Oreo on fire. And he hits with the 20. And Oreo, you take 1 whole fire damage.
Again.
All right, Galen, You see that Oreo's been burned just a little bit twice. So what are you going to do?
Yeah, I guess I should just forward and shoot this one. So, 1, 6. I can't get in range of shocking gas, but so that fireball.
Okay. It hits.
Kill.
And that is enough to kill it, despite the resistance.
That's damn right.
And it explodes.
Nice.
I go pick up my daggers.
And
I'll
I
help
pick up
with
mine
fire.
after putting out the fire.
All right, you put out the fire, you pick up the daggers, no problem.
I go grab my dagger, and then I go all the way back here to pick up my crossbow that I dropped.
All right, so you gather all your equipment, you put out the fire. So what do you do?
Well, let's investigate for tracks again and make sure that was all the hatchlings.
Galen, do you want to investigate these bodies again just to see if they're in the similar spot that the other ones were?
What did you say?
If Galen would want to investigate the bodies like he did in the dash.
Thank you.
All right, anyway, you're searching through the tracks. There are tracks that show up here, but for some reason, you're unable to find tracks leaving. You're not entirely sure why, but you could definitely recognize the one set of tracks showing up and no tracks leaving. And Galen, are you checking the bodies again or not?
Yeah, I'm gonna check them again.
Okay, so yeah, you check them again, and it's the exact same result as last time. They're made out of some sort of brittle stone, and they're hollow on the inside.
Okay. Interesting. Well, I'll note that. Check the next ones as well. Hopefully I can start just learning something if I study enough.
Okay, so yeah, you're going through, you're checking all the bodies, seeing if you can find anything different.
Maybe like things on the outside of the stone that are like indicative of like piercings or how they get the life force sucked out of that type.
Oh, that's a good question. Go ahead and give me a medicine check.
And can I also make I'm just gonna make another note as to where these are being found in the map.
All right.
Another 12. Not great, but it's progress.
Yep, you're checking, and it seems like you're noticing thin marks in the stone. Almost, and there's basically a ring, a half ring of them, and there's two sets of rings. So it reminds you a lot of an animal biting into something.
Okay.
But that's all you're able to gather.
Does this alley continue off screen to the west?
So yeah, the tracks basically lead back the way you came, and you're unable to find additional tracks.
Huh.
But you said that nothing left here, correct?
Sorry, say that one more time?
You said the tracks came in and don't go out?
That's correct.
Where do the tracks end?
They basically end where the bodies are. Specifically at this body over here. So basically, they show up in the alley, they go to these two bodies here, then they continue down the alley to this body over here, and then they seem to come back to these two bodies, and then there's no more tracks.
Well, I want to start checking the walls of these nearby buildings, see if there's any indication that it climbed.
Oh, help him out with that.
Yep, fair enough. Go ahead and you're searching. Go ahead and make a perception check.
Advantage if I'm helping?
Yep. All right.
I send my owl up to do circles as well.
Yep. So yeah, you are definitely checking the walls, and as you're checking, you do notice that some sort of climbing. You do see claw marks on one of the walls, and on the roof over here, especially with the owl, you're able to see some sort of residue, some sort of glass residue. But that's it. You aren't able. Once you get to the residue, you don't see anything else.
I want to climb up there and have a look.
Okay. Yeah, given all the time you want, I'm not going to make you roll. I'm just going to say you're able to climb. You had to roll during combat because you were doing it in a combat situation, obviously. Anyway, yeah, you get to the top, and you see the residue for yourself, and you see the tracks go right up to the right where the residue is, and then there's no more tracks.
And where's the residue?
It's probably about here.
All right. No tracks whatsoever. That's weird. How loose is the roof tiles or whatever? Can I kind of pry a sample off here?
They're fairly old and somewhat soft, but there are no holes or anything. You are able to peel off some of the wood.
And how dangerous? I mean, does this residue seem dangerous? Like, did it harm the surface or the wood that it's on?
It didn't seem to harm the wood at all, no.
Okay. And no more signs of tracks. Well, actually, what about on the next building over to the south?
Yeah, if you check the other buildings, you don't see any evidence of tracks or the creature.
Now, I notice here the building that I'm on, to the north of it, there's this little courtyard thing.
Yeah, the building you're on is basically tenements. It's actually rather high. It's about 3 stories, so it would have been quite the climb. And yeah, that courtyard, there seems to be some sort of well and some sort of courtyard for whoever lives here.
How hard would it be for everybody to get into that courtyard? Like if they had to go around or something. It's not clear how accessible that is from the streets.
It looks like you'd probably have to go through a door in the building. There'd probably be one over here at street level. The other option would be to figure out how to get down this little alley up here, which probably involves going down the street a ways and looping back.
Well, I've got a bit of a different idea. I'm going to go ahead and take my rope and grappling hook. I'm going to throw the grappling hook, well, not necessarily throw it, but I'm going to hook the grappling hook here.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go ahead and drape the rope so it's hanging down over here and see if we can help get people climbing up on the rope.
Yeah, that would probably work fine. Your only issue is ire. How heavy are you?
I think it was like 300. Let me check.
He's big.
315.
Well, if I start with the lighter people and get multiples of us up here, we might be able to help pull the heavier ones up if they have trouble climbing up.
Okay.
Can the roof hold 315 pounds in one spot?
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah,
Especially if it's breaking down on the outside like this.
Yeah, you're honestly not sure. There's a chance that he'll fall through.
Oh boy.
Well, the roof's got to be held by beams.
There are beams. You can see them over. So there are areas that you can potentially, which are potentially stronger.
Well, I could change the positioning, like maybe throw the grappling hook here, but then lower the rope right about here.
Okay, that seems likely to work.
Actually, I'll do it a little differently. I'll do this other corner, these ones here.
All right.
So, all right. So, yep, I'll set the rope up there and start bringing people up.
All right. Yep. I'm gonna say that works just fine. So just move everybody over.
And yeah, and I would have had to switch the rope to help lower everybody down. So I'll leave that like that so we can get back out easily enough. Although I guess we could always just have Char hook the rope for me or something if it seemed like a headache.
All right. Once you get to the other side, Galen being so close to the well, you notice that it's pretty low. It's almost empty.
Hmm. That's not good. Uh, maybe we should take up a barrel, see what's going on.
I agree.
All right.
Okay, I'll start pulling up a barrel.
All
Or
right.
look inside too, just to see what's going on.
Yeah, I mean you're looking in there, and it looks like this just hasn't been used in a long time, and it's dried up.
Huh.
However, there is some evidence of people around because there's a water barrel over here that has water in it.
Yeah.
Well, we'll search around for any signs of activity from the creature and double check the well in case it's low enough that maybe there's something it could have gone down to make a lair or something.
Yeah, I'm thinking it might be in there.
And any other signs that it might have busted into one of these buildings.
All right. So, who's searching the well and who's searching the buildings?
I'll search the well.
All right.
Well, we have a smaller person we can send down there.
Okay. I don't
Grab
have to
the
do that.
bucket. Char flies down and sits in the bucket, and we very gently lower him down.
All right. So, yeah, you lower him down until you finally hit water. And are you looking through his eyes, or are you just going to wait for him to come back up to give you information?
I can look through his eyes and hear through his ears.
All right. So while you're
I
looking,
can say stop before he gets wet.
yeah, and while you're looking through his eyes and listening, you're obviously blind and deaf to your own body. But in this case, it's not a problem. And he looks around down there, and it's pretty dark, but he's got night vision, if I remember correctly. So he is able. It looks like a normal well. The water is rather low. It looks like there's probably, you know, solid ground. Maybe there's a half a foot of water, but otherwise it looks pretty normal.
Okay. And even looking straight down, you can kind of see the floor, right?
Yeah, it's about half a foot.
All right. All right. We can pull him up now.
Okay, so you pull up the owl, and Pico, you're searching around the building, and it looks like a lot of the doors are boarded up. There is some evidence of people living here, but it seems to be mostly abandoned.
Weird.
I agree.
And do we see any that aren't boarded up?
You see a couple of rooms not boarded up. How long are you going to spend looking?
Should be pretty quick boarded up. But yeah, I'll kind of inspect any one that isn't to see if there's any signs of entry through them.
All right, so yeah, you go around. It's 3 stories. There's multiple, these are fairly small rooms. So it probably takes you a good half an hour to go through and look around. You do find maybe 8 rooms that aren't boarded up, and you don't see any evidence of forced entry there. And the boarded up places they're boarded up. It looks like nothing has gone through there because the boards wouldn't still be there.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to skip those ones to look for ones that weren't boarded up to see. Those would be the easier ones to get into.
Right, but yeah, like I said, you don't see any signs of forced entry, at least nothing recent. One of the doors looks like it's broken off its hinges, and the place is empty, but it looks like that probably happened weeks ago or months ago.
What do we have down here?
You see a old gravel alley that leads into other small alleys, and you see a full bucket of water, and it looks like this is probably rainwater used by the few remaining people who live in this tenement. And you see a pile of trash, and otherwise it looks like a fairly normal alley.
Still no sign of tracks anywhere on ground level here.
That's correct.
In the time that we've been in this town, how much history would we have known of the Kylon in terms of how their breeding habits have, or like, been known, I guess, from researchers and stuff?
That's a good question. What you would probably have heard is that roughly 10 years ago, they came through the portals from the dead worlds, and the first thing they started doing was basically destroying the nearby forests. It seems like they would somehow drain the life from the trees and leave these stone trees in their place. And after that, they wind up attacking some villages and towns. And apparently, somewhere around 8 years ago, there was multiple Kylon that got into this city. They were apparently adults, and that apparently caused a lot of havoc as they multiplied, and it was very difficult to get them back out again. And ever since then, the military has been scouring the forests and continuing to try to prune their numbers and protect the nearby towns and villages. And this city has been very protective of the gates and the wall, attempting to keep them out. That's why the gates are always closed at night.
What I was kind of hoping for was more specifically, like, are there, have there been notable signs as to when there's, like, for example, when you find a hornet nest, you know there's certain signs of there being one nearby because of such and such clues. Is there any kind of breeding ground clues or hints as to what's been discovered about this particular type of creature?
Yeah, the main thing that seems to be left behind, other than the fairly distinctive tracks, are the stone creatures in its wake. There doesn't seem to be any sort of waste products or anything like that indicates they're there.
Okay. And how quickly is it possible to procreate? Is it like an overnight thing, or is it a couple of nights before we start seeing more of them come out?
What you understand is that when they consume creatures or plant life matter, it's basically a certain amount of life force, although nobody seems to know exactly how much. Although it does seem to require less from things like humans and more complex creatures than something like plants, which seem to take more. But once they've absorbed a certain amount of life force, they're able to procreate and then move on. So it's more. So you imagine that these two different sites that probably happened last night and in the morning.
Okay.
I'm gonna take a look at this residue sample, and I'm gonna try and make an Arcana check on it, see if there's any obvious magic origins to it.
Sure.
All right.
All right. So yeah, you're looking at it, and it does seem to be a one-time use. It reminds you of a one-time use item that will have some sort of effect. Something where when you destroy it, there's some sort of effect that happens.
Alrighty. Let's see. Given that, I don't know if it could be like a potion or anything like that.
It probably wouldn't be a potion. It probably would have been in the form of a crystal, based on the residue. But yeah, it's similar effect.
All right.
Like some sort of
Ragu,
magic chrysalis.
Yeah, I mean, you remember, like, as an example, in the last campaign where Kashura crushed the large crystal, something like that, except much less powerful.
Ragu, do you think you might have any insight on this? It is something more of an item.
Yes, let me be looking. Okay, I will roll Artificer's Lore to find out whether or not, because
Sure.
it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're looking at it, but you're not able to glean anything more.
Okay.
Should we go try and find Dolor? Since we're still kind of trying to put things together.
Yeah, I mean, given that there's evidence an effect happened, I'm getting the impression that this thing isn't here to find.
Mm-hmm.
And we
should
probably don't want to
probably
waste
talk
too much
to
time.
Lore. Because I think they might be storing a lot more of them with the evil people, and maybe Delore knows where they went. Or has an idea.
Well, let's go find Dolor as it is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me put you back on the map. All right, so what are you doing?
Going to back to the red district. I'm assuming 27 again.
Yep.
Maybe we can find them at the Golden Die, I believe it's called.
Okay, so yep, you definitely head over there. And let me get you on the map here. So you arrive on the Rose Boulevard, and you can see it's fairly busy with people walking up and down the street. And in front of you is a large building, and there's a sign that has 2 dice on the sign painted yellow, and it says Golden Dice.
There it is.
Let's go in, boys.
All right. As you approach, you notice that the door is seems to be barred, and it has a sign on it that says closed.
Huh.
That's weird. What time of day is it?
Well, let's see. It'll probably be in the afternoon.
Shouldn't a gambling house be open in the afternoon?
One would think so.
What day of the week is it?
I mean, he bought the whole place out.
No way
Well-
he bought out a gambling house.
There are people outside. I'm gonna go up to one of them and ask, excuse me, is it normal for this place to be closed this time of day?
Okay, so yeah, you go up to one of them, and it says, "Oh yeah, these on this street, most of these places don't open until after it's dark."
I guess we go.
Yeah, if you want to get into a popular place like this, there might be a line. I don't know if you have any sort of membership here, but otherwise, it might be hard to get in. Everybody wants to get in here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know of anybody who is a member?
Well, that guy over there, I mean, he's a member. He's actually just sitting there waiting for it to open. And he pointed at this guy over here.
Alrighty.
So we might not want to tell the Golden Dice people that we are, like investigating, because they might not
Yeah.
agree.
I agree.
Sure.
But I think I have an idea if we can see what some of this membership stuff looks like.
for
I was gonna
sure.
say, can you guys just double check that that guy in the front isn't the guy we're looking for, who's waiting for the thing to open?
Oh
That's a
yeah,
good
let's go
point.
talk to him.
Well, honestly, you guys have no idea what he looks like.
Yeah, we probably should have asked what he looked like. It was a mistake.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm gonna
if
go
we
up
don't
to
know
him.
what he looks like, maybe we can. Okay.
Yeah,
Never
let's
mind.
just talk to him.
Hello, friend.
You see this burly man who is just kind of sitting there, looks bored, and as you walk up, he looks up and is like, "Hey, what? I'm busy here. Can't you see that?"
Not really.
Well, I was wondering. I've heard about the golden dice.
Of
Do you know
course,
how?
it's right here. You have to be blind not to see it.
Well, I heard of it before I was standing next to it, but I was wondering if you knew how the people become members here.
You gotta know somebody who knows somebody. You know how it goes.
I
Okay.
don't know.
Yeah. Well, we should ask him if he knows the lore because we were trying to gamble with him tonight or something. Trying to bet.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
was
can
gonna.
connect
Never
to him
mind. Yeah.
too. Which guy is it? Is this loser?
Just to the northwest.
This guy right here.
Ah, this guy. I'll intrude, I guess, for a second and say, well, you look like a member, and we were looking to gamble with the lore because we heard he came into some money. You wouldn't
Oh
happen to know.
yeah, there's gonna be a big game tomorrow night, and he's definitely gonna be there. He came by earlier to make sure I was gonna be there. He thinks he can swindle me. You know, he's been trying to swindle me for years. But anyway, he'll be here. Not tonight, I don't think. He seemed to be scared of something or other. I don't know, but he'll definitely be here tomorrow.
How do
Alright.
we get into this gambling tournament?
Well, we have to be members, so we're gonna have to figure out how to be members.
You know,
I start fidgeting with my left hand, and I pull out a coin and start rolling it back and forth between my knuckles like I generally do when I'm bored. And it's quite obviously a platinum coin, which I quickly snatch back into my hand, and I look at him real hard and say, "How do we become members?"
he looks back up and he says, "You're that desperate, huh? Well, I guess I'm somebody you can know. Just tell him that Jackson sent you, and tell him it's Jackson that sent you."
This guy's so funny.
And as he's
Yeah.
saying that, he reaches behind him, he pulls out this leather sack. And then you see there's something inside of the sack, and he chugs something, and then he puts it back behind him.
Yeah. Nice. Alright, I guess you have to pay him now.
What do you mean pay him? I just asked a question. He answered.
He looks up and it's like, "I'll remember you. Yeah, I'll remember you. You'll pay me one way or another."
Oh, that's terrifying. He's gonna steal so much of your money.
Can I make a perception check
Fine,
in here?
Sure. Let me see where you are. Okay.
fine. Pay the man if that's what you people want.
Well, I mean, it's up to you, dude.
So
I wasn't expecting to pay him. I was just trying to.
Ooh, that's bad. Use my passive? Jeez.
So Oreo, what are you? Okay, yeah, you go over there and you see a bunch of broken boxes and trash. It appears to be a bunch of bottles, and it looks like maybe there's some rings or broken kegs of some sort of ale. But it appears to be mostly stuff you would use to run a bar.
Okay, fair enough.
All right, all right. You want the platinum coin? I got to get a little bit more than just being able to get in. Let's say I want to find this guy sooner.
He shrugs. It's like, how would I know? I just see him when he's here.
That's fine. He's definitely
Whatever.
lying.
Keep your money. I don't care.
Give him the coin.
No, don't give him the coin if he's not going to tell you.
All right.
Don't be throwing around platinum like that. How rich are you?
Wait.
Yeah, right. I
Well,
feel
I'm not
poor
that
now.
rich. I'm not that rich, but I wasn't trying to say I was going to give him the platinum. I was showing him that we had money to gamble in the tournament.
Oh, I thought
Yeah,
you were
why
gonna
did you think I was
bribe
going
him,
to give him the money in the first place?
because it was looking like you were bribing him to become a member.
Yeah.
And
so
at this
Oh.
point in time, you notice this this other kind of burly guy, kind of moving in your direction. But Pico, with your insight, you're able to tell that he's like pretending he doesn't notice you, but he's actually moving towards you.
Yeah, he's trying to steal because you flashed a platinum coin in the poor district.
This is not the place to flash a platinum coin.
So what do you do?
So which person is the burly one?
This one here.
And he's who heading towards who?
He seems to be heading towards your group, probably Ragu, but he'll move forward and then he'll kind of shuffle to the side, move forward, and that kind of thing. So he's trying to make it look like he's not moving towards you guys, but he actually is.
That's cool. All right, let's get out of here. We need to go.
All right. Yep, I guess we can go ahead and move along. As we step away, I'll go ahead and point the guy out. And actually, I wonder if I should just greet him if he's kind of walking our direction. So, yeah, why
Do you
not?
point him out in a cautious fashion to me, Pico?
Good day, sir.
Oh, I didn't see you there. How can I help you?
Oh. What have you heard about the Golden Dice? I've heard this place is quite the destination point.
Oh, yeah, it's a popular place for gambling and drinking. It's one of the more popular places on this street. But you already knew that, I'm sure. Anyway, I gotta get going. And he does a 180 and starts walking the other way.
Classic.
Alrighty.
So what should we do to burn the time until tonight?
And I do a perception check in the back here. What's going on?
Sorry, say that again?
And I just make a quick perception check in the back here just to see the general, kind of like get to know the place type of situation, just to see what's the setup back here.
Sure. So yeah, you see a bunch of trash. It seems to be there's a door in the back, and then there's a bunch of trash that seems to get piled out from the door, and the door is definitely closed. Yeah, I think that's about all you can notice here.
Is it locked?
Well, it's hard to tell from the side without trying it, but you would assume so.
Okay, I'm just making a note of it. I'll keep going
We
back.
probably shouldn't break in just yet.
I didn't say I was breaking in. Jeez, relax.
You say
I
that.
got a dumb idea we can try tonight.
I was thinking maybe tonight we go in, gamble a little bit, see what the inside is like, and maybe meet a couple people there so we can start scoping it out for when we meet what's his face in there.
Yeah, I like that.
And hey, I bet kind of walk off from all this stuff here, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, I think we'll probably get a good way to discuss this stuff. But I'm basically thinking that well, I'm sure Dolores got a whole bunch of buddies now.
Mm-hmm.
What if Dolores sent us?
Oh, that's smart. Okay. We could certainly try and play that off.
Because I mean,
The only
my
issue
thinking-
with that is if it goes wrong, we could notify him in advance that we're kind of coming for him and scare him a little bit. But sounds good.
it's a possibility. But the other thing too is just that if Jackson decides that hey, we didn't pay him enough to be associated with this, And he's like, if anybody says that Jackson sent you, make sure they have a quote unquote good time. So, whereas Delore probably doesn't have that kind of motivation to be dissuading anybody.
That's true. All
I
right.
mean, we could try it both ways, having people,
Say
do two
we
different
could,
groups.
yeah, that, or we could say that we were sent by Delore, and that we talked to Jackson about it too, giving us 2 ins and making it more likely for them to let us in as well.
Question.
Again, that's what I'd want to separate, because if Jackson says rough up anybody who says Jackson sent them, then they might think that we've been trying to con people or something.
Ah, fair. No, that's actually, yeah, that's true.
Jeremy, because of our stay in this area, granted, I don't think any of us might have probably been around this part of the town so much, but how easy would it be for our faces to be recognized in spots like these? And to
You
kind of like associate us to certain groups?
so you've probably spent any time you spent in the markets or the red light district and whatnot. You probably spent much closer to where you're staying in the south. So my guess is you probably haven't spent a lot of time in this part of the city at all. So I don't think anybody here is going to recognize you.
Cool. So, what's the move? What are we doing until nighttime?
Yeah.
Well, why don't we go collect up those hatchling bodies, because I think we forgot to do that, and let's go turn those in and, establish we've made some progress.
Yeah, I have a bit of an idea. So are Sutaga are they treated worse than everyone else? Like, are they in a poor section of the city and
Yeah,
basically cut from everyone else?
yeah,
Is this
they're definitely treated worse, but better here than in most places.
okay? So I'm wondering if there's any I don't know if I know anything about this area because of that.
I doubt it because again, you would have probably spent more time closer to home. There's other areas like this that are closer, so I doubt that you would have spent much time here or know much about what's going on here.
Okay.
Pico, would your library contact have any more info on the residue stuff? If I don't know if what you uncovered earlier was everything you could get, or if you needed more help.
I could see I might be able to get access to some basic research regarding that, and that would probably definitely help rather than just trying to go off of memory.
If you go ahead and give me a piece, I can drop it off to see if it has magical item type properties.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and just snap it in half and give Ragu a piece.
All right, I'll take you back to the map so you can decide what to do.
So yeah, so I think first we should go ahead and gather up the corpses of the things and take them to the I guess to the West Barracks or the garrison.
Okay, so while you're doing that, you notice that in the corpses in the alley, actually kind of near where you are, on the road near the Rose Boulevard, you noticed a trinket that you missed last time because you didn't really search around the bodies, and the trinket is it's two small wooden dice that are attached together, kind of at an offset, and it's painted yellow.
Wow, that might be membership tags. Oh wow.
Either that, or I hope it's not
I wonder
Dolores'
if it's
dice.
Delore.
Exactly. Ah, there's our entry.
Well, let's take them.
All right. All right. So yeah, you
Which one was that site that happened? That we found the trinket? Was that
in the alley in the red light district. So actually pretty close to where the golden dice is.
okay?
So
but that was
the second place that we were at.
okay, so that was the one without the
You're muted.
No, that's the one that had the tabaxi. I'll bring up the map
Mm,
so it's easier
No,
to
the
remember.
first encounter was the tabaxi. The second
Yeah,
one was the other two.
that was you guys went through the red light district in the first encounter because that's you followed the tracks, and then you continued on to the tenements. Then you went back to the red light district. So this is the map where it happened.
Can anybody else hear me?
No, you're still on mute. I can only hear you by Jeremy.
How about now?
Try again.
Go ahead and try again.
How about that?
there you go.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
you are.
That's weird.
All
All right.
So,
Okay, so it's the
the
first site or the second
site
site that you found the thing?
It was the first site.
Okay, that being the
Okay.
case, looking at the bodies, we recognize that one isn't a tabaxi then?
No, they're all of them are tabaxi.
So definitely not him. But it means that
Although,
one of these tabaxi must have been a member at that place.
of course, actually, we don't know what race Delore was, do we?
Well, I mean, okay, historically speaking here, tabaxi are not exactly super common, and at least as far as I understand, we in the guard ship, I don't know. I guess Jeremy, would we have known? Because I mean, I don't know. I don't have
You
that
were
history.
told he was Murr's partner and supposed to be guarding the gate.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
the rationale that many tabaxi would be out here.
There's not many out here, and they wouldn't have been here long. Certainly not years, like it's been already mentioned with Delore.
Yeah, so I think I
But
rule out
nobody
Alright.
the
bothered
tabaxi for now.
nobody bothered to mention whether or not Delore was a human, a half elf, dragonborn.
Nobody mentioned it. Nobody asked.
Alrighty.
Well,
Well, on our way back through, we can always just stop back in and ask, hey, can you give us a description for the purposes of identification? Make it sound like we found some bodies and we wanted to make sure one of them wasn't him. That way we don't look that dumb, but we still get the information.
Fair.
Well, we could also say that based on the dice, we think he's in danger, and if he can give us any info to find him so we can make sure before any harm comes to him.
All right, so you're going through, you're collecting the bodies, you're taking them back to the West Garrison. That's correct?
Yes.
All right, so you arrive. Everybody is carrying a body. They're fairly light, but you have to be ginger with them because they're brittle. And you finally arrive back. Let me open up my thing. And so once you get inside, you see the captain walking around inside the inner walls, but out in the open where you can see him. And once he notices you, he comes walking up, and he looks at the bodies and he says, "So you found sites, have you?
Yes.
I should thank you for bringing them for further investigation. Please come with me." And he takes you to a medical building, and there's various beds that seem to be with medical equipment nearby, and please place them on the beds.
Alrighty, guess we do so.
Okay. After you place the bodies, he looks back at you and he says, "Well, thank you for being responsible."
We still have not found the adolescent yet. How intelligent are the Kylon when they start maturing?
They start out much like animals, but they do grow more and more intelligent. I would not say we've never heard them speak or cast spells or use technology, but they are quite cunning, and they seem to understand more and more as they grow older.
As we've seen evidence that one of them managed to use a one-time item that probably relocated it.
I see. I would not put it past them, although I would suspect that they would not have come across that on their own. They may know how to use the thing, but I don't see how they would have gotten the thing on its own.
Do they have any ability to disguise themselves after a certain age?
Not that I'm aware.
Well, it doesn't look like they got into the city on their own. It looks like they were probably smuggled in.
Yes, that is the conclusion I suspected you would arrive at after we were removed and told not to look at this ourselves.
Because they think it might be an inside job, so it's nothing against you. They just remove the entire party from the equation while we investigate.
Mm-hmm.
Is Mir still available? We had some additional questions for him.
He is. He was asked to spend the day in the barracks in case you needed to ask him questions.
Alrighty. Well, in that case, we'll go ahead and check on him.
Okay. So, yeah, you go back in there and you find Mur sitting on the bed, and once you enter, he stands up and he looks around at you and he says, "You have more questions for me?"
Yes. First off, do you recognize this? And show him the trinket.
It does look familiar. It belongs to that infernal golden dice place, doesn't it?
These, it seems to be. Do you know if these are given out to members?
Delore had one. I know that.
Well, we're concerned that he may be in danger, and we realize, well, we don't know what he looks like. Can you give us a description, or better yet, where he lives, so we can make sure that no harm comes to him?
Unfortunately, I do know where he lives, and I know he's not there because I checked earlier. But I can give you a description. And so, Delore, has blonde hair. He's a human. He has a mustache and a beard, although the beard is rather small and trim. And he wears an earring in his left ear. It's silver. He's got blue eyes and relatively pale skin. He is about 6 feet tall and skinny-ish, although somewhat muscular, as you would be wearing armor all day long.
Alrighty.
And whose full name is Delore Frozix.
Or Frozix.
But unfortunately, he did not, well, as you would say, let me in much outside of work and covering for his foolishness. So
Was there
I don't
any
know much
people
else.
that would? Okay. Well, I was gonna say, in his time that he's been around here, has he been talking to any outside people more, regularly, if you know him that well enough?
I do know he is seeing someone, Janice, I want to say, some farm woman. Well, rather young. But outside of that, he hangs out with other guards and spends a lot of time at the Golden Dice.
Where's Janice at, or where does she usually?
Oh, as far as I know, Janice lives a couple miles out of town, out of the city.
Okay.
But I've never been there myself. I don't know exactly where. I just know it's in some farm out there.
We'll find that farm.
Alrighty. Let's see. Do we have anything else? The description he gave, did that sound familiar relative to the guy who walked up to me? Although he said he was burly, so I don't think so. But
No.
alrighty. Well, if he's spooked away for the day, then I guess we're probably not going to find him there tonight. We can still check that anyway. Well, how about Ragu and I go ahead and try and get the little research thing in? I don't know if we want to split up at this point, where, I mean, because what Ragu and I are doing should be pretty safe. If everybody else wants to try to find Janice, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. We should find Janice.
It might be worth asking. I don't know how the city does, keeps track of people, but maybe maybe we might be able to get some info from the guards on this Janice individual.
Yeah.
All right.
I
So-
shall leave the talking to the other people in the group that are good at talking, though. So I'll just follow in that group.
So which group are you going to be in?
The one going to Janice's place.
Okay. So it'll be Pico and Ragu, and then Oreo and everybody else, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Unless you guys also need to do something in town for the ones that are not going to the library.
I probably shouldn't go to the library. I should
Why
probably
should you? I'll go to the library. I'd be down to go to the library.
Okay. So
So
Devok
who-
is going to the library as well.
Who else is going?
Pico and Ragu, as far as I know.
Okay, then yeah.
Okay.
And then, yeah, that's a good split.
All right. So I guess we'll do that group first because that'll be simpler. So as Pico, Ragu, and Devok, you pass through the Common District again on the way to the Halls of Learning, and it takes you, it's particularly busy right now with the lots of people clogging the streets, so it takes you about 20 minutes to get there. And you finally arrive at the Halls of Learning, and what do you do?
Good question.
All right, I am going to go ahead and go talk to my contact.
Okay, so yeah, you go in the library and you find Navala, which you can actually see here. She is she's an elf woman, but rather young, and you see her sitting behind her desk as normal. And when you arrive, she looks and sees you, Pico, and she says, "Oh, welcome back. I haven't seen you in a couple of days, and I see you got friends with you today. How can I help you?"
I was trying to research a sample that I found today, and I was wondering if you could point me in the direction of any literary works that might cover one-use items, especially anything that might be used for relocating oneself or hiding one's tracks.
Oh, certainly. So she takes you over to a an area of the library that's kind of in the back in a dark area. She says, "Yeah, people don't come back here that often, but here you go. Here are the books you'll need, and I would recommend Anissa's guide here. It seems to cover the most common single-use items." Including crystals, of all things. Crystals, potions, and that kind of thing. So she hands you the book, and she says, well, if there's anything else you need, let me know. And then she goes back to their desk.
Thank you very much. It always impresses me that you never get tired of me.
Oh, yeah. There are far more troublesome people that come in here sometimes, especially professors. They're the worst.
Duly noted. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and buckle down and start doing research. And let's see, and Devok is here as well.
Devok and Ragu.
All right, Ragu, were you going to go ahead and take that sample to check with one of your contacts, or were you going to help here?
Yes, I can go take it to my friend and see what he has to say about it, and I can meet you back here to help finish up with the research.
That sounds good.
All right. So Ragu leaves, and so it's just you and Devok. So I'm assuming you guys are going to help each other go through this.
I think that's the plan.
All right. So go ahead and give me a Arcana check.
Out of curiosity, what's your Arcana?
Let me look. It's probably fairly high. Hold on.
If it's more than a 2, then it's probably better if you do it.
Okay, should I roll advantage?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Where's advantage in this again?
At the
Upper
top
right
right.
corner.
Yeah, way up at the top. I had a hard time finding it.
All right.
Nice.
All right.
So yeah, you spend probably about 2 or 3 hours scouring through that book, and eventually you come across a crystal with the glass, so the surface is about the right color, and it seems that with that particular type of crystal, you're limited as far as the kinds of enchantments you can put in it. If you put in other enchantments, it seems to fail, at least according to the text. And it seems like the most likely enchantments are invisibility, pass without a trace, and shadow step.
Oh, wait, shadow step.
But it is a one-time use, so you basically use it, you use whatever abilities in there, and then it's gone.
What's shadow step?
I might be thinking the wrong one, but it's I think
Misty Step?
Misty Step.
Misty step. Okay.
Of course, Misty Step wouldn't go very far, right?
No, that's a 30 feet, but
30
it's
foot.
still, even for a one-timer, that's still pretty valuable to have in a crystal.
Yeah, the thing though is, I mean, we had a pretty wide swath. 30 feet shouldn't have gotten them out of our
No,
search
it's not
area.
that.
Yeah.
It's the thing that there's a possibility of between 1 and 3 spells, and 2 of the 3 right now are the more possible options. So either way, it would have been it's something to disguise them. Invisibility or pass without a trace.
Yeah, those two seem to be better. I'm thinking pass without trace seems more likely because if it were invisibility, we still should have picked up some tracks.
All right. And going back over to you, Ragu, you wind up going over to the shop. And let me pull up your person here. There it is. So yeah, it is a you come to a gnomish toy shop called Gimble's Contraptions and Gadgets, and inside you find a rock gnome named Gimble, who you know rather well, at least in the last couple of months. And he's like, "Hey, how can I help you? Hey, I haven't seen you in a couple days."
Gimbal, my friend, I've been busy. I have work now. I'm officially contracted.
Oh wow, you working instead of doing what you want? Wow, well, times change.
Yeah, I was wondering if you might be able to help me with my work a bit.
Sure. What do you need?
I very carefully pull out that tiny little piece of crystal, and I just kind of hand it to him. Say, we have reason to believe the people I am looking for probably got away with that.
He's looking at the
Oh,
crystal, and he says, "Oh, he must have got this off the black market then."
that's what I suspected as well. I was hoping you'd be able to tell me what it does and where I could find one and where maybe I can track him down if he wants to get another.
I'm going to have to look into this. I don't know anything off the top of my head, but
Of
this
course.
is interesting. Give me a couple of days, and I'll see what I can dig up.
Excellent. Thank you so very much. How's business been going?
Good, good. Some of these rich around here, these noble families trying to show off, they have more money than they know what to do with.
Of course, and you have the highest quality of toys and trinkets.
Yeah,
And
they want to impress each other.
yeah. Did you hear any news about anything going on?
Mm,
Anything interesting?
One thing is interesting. I've heard some grumbling on the streets that for some reason something happened last night, although it's not clear what. And what's even weirder is the guild's handling it, even though supposedly it's a matter of city security. It's kind of funny.
That it is. I'll make you a little trade.
What do you have in mind?
The inside scoop.
Say that again?
The
inside scoop.
Oh. And for what?
We discuss that later. You're always my good friend.
All right. No guarantee what it's worth, but go ahead.
You're right. There is something going on in the city, and the guild is handling it. My guild. Anyway, the reason they are taking the guards out of it is because they think it was an inside job smuggling something into the city that is very dangerous.
And
that
this
very
is connected?
dangerous thing? What's that?
And this is connected, and he holds up the crystal.
It most certainly is. The dangerous thing that escaped into the city used that to get away. I shall find it. You know me. I never lose a query.
All right. Well, now I know it's definitely worth checking into.
Oh, on a completely different side note. What do you know of, the Kylon?
Nasty creatures.
Yes, very nasty.
I know
Any
that.
particular weaknesses? Any history on them being taken out?
Oh, they front force. Unfortunately, the adults are the worst because the adults are actually it's hard to hurt the adults. You slash them, you poke them, you smash them, and it's less effective.
Are they only hurt by, say, enchanted things?
Yeah.
Or
That's.
okay.
I mean, they're hurt by everything or a lot of things, but it seems like normal weapons are less effective against the adults. I guess that doesn't kick in until they're actually adults. My understanding, but it does make hard. It does make you want to deal with them while they're still younger.
Okay. And if they have any other, weaknesses or resistances? Anything that we might be able to use to my advantage?
Don't use cold or poison. That won't do you any good.
Understood. Thank you. Well,
Okay.
I hope you find out anything about that crystal very soon. I'll be back in a little while, a day or two, and see how you're doing. And good luck. Good business to you.
Thank you. See you soon.
See you soon.
Okay.
Okay, I head back over to the library.
So you head back over to the library, and yeah, they're basically still working in the book. A couple of hours pass, and then you get the information that I already mentioned before. And
Okay.
back to Oreo and team. What are you doing?
We go back to the northwest gate because I'm assuming the farmlands are up north of that big swath area over
Yeah.
there. I want to stop by where that dwarf woman was first and just ask her if if there's any if she knows of a farmer woman named Janice and how familiar is she with, I guess, her family and the general area where she's at.
Okay, you go up and you start asking her, and then she gets this kind of sad look on her face. She says, "Oh, sad times, sad times. That there was a freak fire, and that farmhouse, and for some reason only that farmhouse was burnt to the ground. I'm afraid the whole family is gone."
How long ago was that?
Oh, 2 days ago?
And nothing suspicious came out of that?
Well, we went to investigate, but it was just a regular fire as far as we can tell.
What do you call a regular fire?
Well, it looks like somebody was cooking something on the inside on the stove. And the wood was burning a little too hot, I guess, and the wood was apparently very dry, more so than the surrounding farms, it seems. And the place went up in smoke almost, really quickly, is my understanding. And nobody was able to get out alive, even the animals.
How far from here is that particular farm?
Oh, about 2.5 miles.
So it's pretty easy to spot once we get out there.
Yeah, it's the only place that's burnt to the ground.
Anyone still out there investigating, or is it a pretty closed case where we can just kind of check it out now?
You shouldn't have any problems. There's no one else out here. We have other things going on, and so we've had to pull back.
Look at the others, kind of see if you guys have anything. If not, maybe we should go out there. Kylon is higher. If not, then we can just go out.
So sorry, say it one time.
You guys cool? Do you guys have? I mean, if you guys don't have any questions, we can just all head out to the farm and check it out ourselves.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay. So you guys, you head out. The road's pretty busy, but it becomes less busy as the further away you get from the city. First, you go through some normal buildings. Basically, there's a almost a whole town right outside the walls, outside of the gates, and you pass through that, and you start getting into the farmland, and eventually, you see just one farmhouse and nearby fields and you can just see the char from the road. It's easy to spot. The farmhouses you pass along the way seem to be fine, and as you approach, you notice that on one side there's a small creek, and that seemed to stop the fire. On the other side, it seems like the shrubbery and grassland only went so far, and then basically there's a wide area of dirt and gravel, and so it really does seem like the fire was burnt and was stopped by natural things blocking the path. So what do you do?
That would explain how it might have eventually extinguished. But can I actually try and trace the origins of the fire?
Yep. So how are you going to do that?
I like to use I don't know if to claim it could be survival, to kind of see if, because I know that usually the origin of a fire is where the harshest residue exists, or the darkest point in a particular area. You'd usually kind of signal up that's where it started from. So if I want to see where, if what they claim is maybe a natural homemade fire, then it would point to some particular part of the room in the building, or whatever's left, And if not, I want to just trace where the general spots that look the most burned or the most,
Okay, I would say that. Let's see. Survival would probably work. Investigation would also work. So either way.
what is everybody else's survival and investigation, those that are with me?
Not great. 0 and 1. Alright, 0 and 0 actually.
Okay then. Can one of you guys help me, maybe?
Yeah, I'll help.
Okay.
So I would probably say that for something like this, finding the origin of fire,
Oh, normal?
whichever skill you're using, whoever's helping you would have to be proficient in that skill. Or be proficient in the other skill, like if you're using survival, they can be proficient in investigation, or if you're using investigation, they can be proficient in survival.
That's fair. Okay, so I'll just roll normal then, unless you guys have proficiency in either one. It doesn't sound like you guys have, so it's fine.
Nope.
All right, so yeah, you spend maybe 10 minutes looking around and trying to isolate the source. You do see that it looks like the fire burned rather hot, maybe hotter than you might expect from a simple like wood stove, um, you know, catching things on fire. But you're not. It's hard to tell.
What about any signs of similar tracks as what we've been seeing in the city?
So, what kind of tracks are you looking for? Are you looking for the Kylon, or are you looking for some other tracks?
The Kylon.
Okay. Go ahead and make a normal survival check for track.
God damn.
Yeah, you look around for tracks, and you do see tracks of people. You do see a couple of wagons, like wagon tracks, but you don't see any evidence of Kylon tracks.
Wagon tracks. Now, who has, I think, did Pico have that rope with the thing? Was that yours with you, Dave?
Yeah.
Damn it. All right. All right, fine.
For what it's worth, though, you saw me doing that, so that might have gotten you to think a little more carefully about how big the wagon was in that regard.
Would a history check let me know if I could remember whether what I saw from the
Yeah,
rope?
I think I would accept that.
Okay. Wow, these freaking rolls, man.
It looks like you find 3 different sets of wagon tracks. It looks like 2 of them might match, but you might be wrong. However, I will say, as a hint, is that you do have 2 other people with you who are also there with the rest of the group when things are being measured.
But I don't. Do you guys have any proficiencies or history, or do you guys have something there that you guys have as a bonus that maybe I
Well,
can
this
help
is just
you guys with?
remembering, so you don't need a proficiency in history just to remember. The only reason you needed it for the fire was because it's a very technical thing, whereas history, if you're just remembering something, anybody can do that.
Mhm.
So, I can roll again. Is that what you're saying, or is it?
I'm suggesting that one of them can roll.
Okay, do it. Somebody roll it, please, because I'm rolling like crap.
Ire does not. He didn't see the rope measuring. He was looking in a different direction.
Galen, maybe, please.
I was there. I can give it a roll. Or we just rolling straight intelligence?
No, history.
History.
All right,
Yeah.
Galen, you remember exactly, and out of the 3 sets of wagon tracks, you're positive that one of them matches the wagon that came in the city.
Well, I'm positive that one of these matches the wagon.
Okay, so that doesn't. Okay, so if this is supposed to be an inside job, now we're talking about farmers getting involved in this. There's something else that's going on then. If he had his partner's family involved in this, which is weird.
Well, what you're able to see is you just see wagon tracks leaving, um, and you see at least one set of tracks that matches, and the place is burnt down.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, fair. We'll make a note. Anything else that stands out to us from this pile of debris and stuff that's in this farm town or this
Yeah,
farm?
you are as you start looking at the bodies. I mean, it's one thing to look at the wood and the other structures, but once you actually start paying attention to the bodies, you realize just how hot this fire was, and the the bodies have been almost completely destroyed. The bones are blackened. One of them, there's probably enough to them that actually, go ahead and make a perception check. I'm gonna have you do that. All right. So as you're searching through the bodies, you do find one of them has a bracelet, and the bracelet has it's basically really just a rope band and some leather that was obviously not leather. I'm sorry, iron, and the rope was burnt away. The iron is still there, but you can see the holes where it all went and everything. And there's names etched in there fairly crudely, and it says Janice and Delore.
Hmm.
Well, first thing, they left the bodies here? It's been 2 days and they just leave them here? Okay, cool.
Apparently,
Um,
but again, the bodies were burnt so badly that they weren't recognizable. And the other thing is you think about it, if there was a fire, then of course the bodies would be there. If they're gone, that might be
sure.
weird.
Alright, that's fair.
Well, I think she was thinking that people might go bury them or something.
Yeah, because I mean, 2 days, if this thing has already been extinguished since then and they're still out here and they're like, yeah, okay, there's just, we'll leave them out in
Now
the
you know
open.
why. Now you know why they didn't want to trust this to the guards.
Um, what about you guys? Do you think we should take this? I point to the band or whatever. Do you think it may be
Mhm.
worth for us to bring this with us?
I mean, I don't see
Yeah.
why not.
Okay, I'm gonna start trying to gently, with that being morally, I don't know, conscious of like the way I'm taking this offer. I don't know.
It's
Well, keep in
evidence.
mind
It's
it's burnt away. You basically find the slab of metal there. You only figured out that it was a bracelet by looking at the shape and the holes and everything. It's not actually attached.
So maybe we can use it as leverage for DeLorean. I mean,
Yeah, that was my point, Delore. Yeah, that's my
yeah.
point of taking it. I'm still gonna take it, so I'm just gonna take whatever it left of it is, and I'll put it into my pocket.
Okay.
Um, anything else you guys want to check from this spot, or do you think we've got enough to go back to you guys?
Oh, that's probably good.
Okay, let's make our way back.
Yes,
All right.
sir.
So you make your way back, and it's probably evening by the time everybody gets back together. And I'm just going to delete it down to one token. Where was everybody meeting up?
We never
Probably
said.
halls of learning.
That was jumbled. Say that again.
Halls of learning.
Okay. So everybody meets up at the halls of learning, and you've already uncovered the information. You come back from the farm. So what do you guys say to each other?
All right. Well, we found some information on the crystal. There are 3 possibilities as to what it could have been. It looks like, what were those 3 options? Invisibility, Pass Without Trace, and Misty Step. Given what we, the research, given the investigation we did, it sounds like Pass Without Trace is probably the most likely, especially since the wagon obviously used that too. But that's about all we've got here. But man, I love this library. I think the only time it ever let me down was the time when I tried to research ancestry here. I found only 1 reference to Kitten's Whiskers here, and turns out all he did was check out some stuff related to humor and jokes.
Oh my. Wait, you say kitten whiskers?
Kitten's Whiskers.
Kitten whiskers, okay.
A Tabaxi naming convention.
Alrighty. So what I would suggest then is that we end the session here, and because it's getting pretty close to 11. So so far you've visited two sites where attacks have occurred. You've gone to the garrison, and you found out about Myrrh and Delore. You found out that Delore was at the Golden Dice, and you found out where that is as well. And you've also discovered various other clues along the way, and that's where we will end it for this session.
I'll definitely say that before the end, I would have shared what we found at the farm with the rest of the team too.
Okay.
Yeah, and I wanted to share what I found with my guy about don't use cold or poison against them, and he's looking into the item more specifically.
All right. So at this point, I went ahead and shared the session XP with everybody. So you should see session XP show up on your screen, and you might have to, pull it open. And you can see that you got 75 experience points from encounters. That included social encounters as well as combat encounters. And you got 88 experience points from exploration. Exploration includes finding important locations that you didn't already know the locations to, finding clues, and making discoveries. So that would be like all the information you found in the various locations and the dice object and so on. And so everybody gets a total of 163 experience points. Okay. And did anybody learn by failure that I forgot?
I don't think so.
Oh, actually, I just remembered. Didn't you? You did that twice, didn't you, Oreo?
Which
Bad rolls at the farm.
So in that case, Oreo gets an extra 25 experience points. Let me go ahead and.
Didn't Ire screw up one of those rolls?
Yeah, I did miss a history check. Yeah.
Because he was trying to remember the wagons, or.
Oh, yeah, that's true. So Ire, you get 13 experience points.
Let's go.
So I definitely crit failed one of my fire rolls.
Okay, that does count. Thanks for reminding me. So that would be Galen also gets 13.
So I should just add 13 to my total.
Yeah, so it's 163 plus 13 for you.
Cool.
Thank you.